Extra starts right now.
Well, thank you for joining us on this First Alert Weather Day. Meteorologist Tania Michelle joining us again. Tania, we've been keeping a close eye on this system. It's really starting to ramp up again. We're seeing that final line coming together as this approaches West Alabama.
Yeah, absolutely. This is what we've been really preparing for.
Right.
And this is what's going to continue to move through our area throughout the evening and night tonight. And this is what we need to watch for, because I do think that winds, like you're showing right here, can begin to re-ramp up as this moves into central Alabama.
I mean, we're looking at 60 to 70 mile per hour straight line wind damage here possible with this line. This is approaching Sumter County and Pickens County. If you're in Pickensville and Aliceville, this is an intense line that's coming together, and that's the final push, that squall line. Kind of like the past couple of systems, we have a line of storms, not seeing much as far as tornadoes. It's just a different mode of severe weather we need to prepare for this evening.
Absolutely. And we've been already getting tons of reports of down trees and those power lines. That's going to be the real big issue for this evening and really throughout the night tonight.
All right, well, hey, let's dive in. I want to give you the extra here, show you where some of that wind's been causing already some down trees. Even with the sun shining today, it's just been a windy day in general. This one was in East Birmingham, video from earlier off of Clay Chalkville Road, and we're seeing more scenes like this across the area because we are starting to see those gradient winds picking up at about 40 to 50 miles per hour across the area. And we're going to be talking right now. I want to go to radar and just show you here, meteorologist Tania Michelle on the radar controls, and we'll clear things off and just show you that mostly what we're seeing now is a lot of wind and rain for central areas. The good thing is we're getting lots of rain, but look at that tornado threat. It is ramping up. Several tornado warnings now. There's one around Quitman, Mississippi, another one close to Waynesboro, Mississippi. These are severe thunderstorm warnings. I still think for us, the big story for us will be those damaging straight line winds. And look where the tornado threat's going. You know, we track those tornado ingredients down into the southwest part of the state. That's where we're seeing those greater parameters. I think as far as tornadoes go, that risk stays isolated, even though we are under a watch. We need to keep an eye on it around Chilton County, Sumter County, and to Marengo County there as well, in Perry County. But notice to the north, we're still dealing with severe storms. But this is one of those nights where a lot of the tornadoes that you often see in situations like this with these squall lines sometimes are more of the EF1, EF0 types, and the kind of winds that you have with storms on a night like this can equate to a low-end tornado, 70-plus mile-per-hour winds. And we know already just from seeing 30, 40 mile-per-hour winds, we've had power outages, tree damage. So from an impact standpoint, this is certainly going to be an eventful night weather-wise across the entire state of Alabama. What Tania is doing, this is an incredible tool that we have here in the First Alert Weather Center. This gives you that 60-minute advantage. In fact, this goes out 2 hours, but this is taking current radar data, using some of the mathematics there and helping to project where this will be within the next 2-hour time frame. Does a great job. And let's just take this out 1 hour, Tania. Next 60 minutes still does a really good job in that 1 hour time frame. But we go from right now 6:30 to around 7:15. This will be approaching Winfield, Fayette, moving into Tuscaloosa County around 7:30, Utah around 7:30, and again some of these storms even to the north where we don't have a tornado watch could go severe. So that's why we need to be alert for the possibility of some damaging straight line winds as well. And I know it's been windy already, but once that passes, I think once we get this out of here, let's go back to the graphics, Tania, because I do have some timing maps I want to show. I think once we get this through Birmingham by 10 o'clock, it'll be closer to midnight East Alabama. Then that threat for storms will come to an end. But you see some of the model data here. There's 6 o'clock. So things are lining up nicely with the forecast guidance. And there's 10 o'clock, and you can see 10 to midnight pushing through East Alabama. And then tomorrow we'll see some more rain coming back later in the day. But the severe threat at least will be ending as this continues to the east. But after Weather Extra, we're going to be keeping up with this and tracking all these storms moving across the state on our streaming platforms. Don't forget, we have the weather app, but we have a streaming app that you can download. If you watch us on YouTube, if you watch us on the First Alert Weather app, you just keep it right here on Weather Extra, because we're going to stay wall-to-wall tracking these storms on our digital platforms. And if needed, we'll break in on WBRC right here with any warnings. And make sure you download the First Alert Weather app. By doing so, just search WBRC in your app store or scan this code on your screen. You'll be able to receive warnings as they come up and get personalized notifications for your exact location. But right now, here on Weather Extra, we want to go to Taylor Pollock, who has been out in the First Alert Storm Tracker. And Taylor, you've been out in this weather in West Alabama, and and you're familiar with South Alabama and a lot of the tropical systems. It's been one of those nights out there, almost like a tropical system moving in, right, with the gusty winds. Tell us what you're seeing right now.
Not nearly as humid out here, Wes. It's still a little bit chilly, but we are seeing so much rain out here in Tuscaloosa and the West Alabama area. Here's a look now at one of our cameras. We're just driving around the Tuscaloosa area. We're seeing a lot of lightning as well along with that rain and so much wind. We can't talk enough about the wind that we've seen during this system. It's impacting several people out here on the roads tonight, including truckers, the trucking community. We actually stopped at a truck stop off Skyland Boulevard a little earlier today, talking to a few of them, and they tell us that many of them pulled over to wait out this storm because of the impacts that the wind can have on their trucks, especially if they've got empty loads right now. One trucker told me a gust of wind as low as 15 miles per hour can create problems for truckers, and we've been seeing those gusts near 40 miles per hour. We spoke with one trucker who was on his way to Chattanooga but decided to stop for the evening. This is what he had to say.
Yeah, so I'm here for the night. Not going to chance it, endangering myself or anybody else on the road, so yeah.
And we're going to continue staying out here in West Alabama, checking on damage reports and bringing you the latest updates as we continue to monitor the conditions out here in this part of our viewing area. Your breaking news reporter in Tuscaloosa, Taylor Pollock, WBRC 6 News on your side.
And a first alert for some breaking news right now. You're getting a live look as crews battle a brush fire. Looks like it's over in western Jefferson County. This is off of Mulga Loop Road off of Highway 269. The fire has been burning for a few hours. The wind not helping crews to get fires out. At least 4 burned today. Firefighters tell us the good news here. No structures are in danger. Our crews just spoke to the minor fire chief trying to get everything under control. Chief Mago tells us about what's causing some of these fires today.
All of the fires are not connected, but we did learn some about some of the fires were started from people that were burning trash illegally. We did know that the one on Pleasant Grove Road involved some down power lines. Out here, the biggest one is running everything about 15-20 acres. We're not sure how it started.
Yeah, a lot of these fires, this is in Helena. Firefighters have put out at least 3 brush fires in the last few hours. Helena Fire posting on Facebook, they have responded to 3 brush fires and a car crash, mostly along South Shades Crest and Highway 13. These are pictures from those fires. State Forester Ricky Oates says they don't expect tonight's storm to fully soak the state, but even a partial soaking, of course, that would help out tremendously.
And before making its way over to us, this same system actually already caused problems in parts of the U.S. North Texas, you're looking at right now, damage to a high school in Plano, Texas, caused by hurricane-force winds. Officials say the winds caused part of the school's tin roof to be ripped off and blown into the parking lot. And also, Dallas, Texas area, look at the damage done to this RV park. Residents say one of the RVs has blown over with a woman still inside. They say the woman managed to get out of the RV, thankfully, and several neighbors were able to bring her down to safety.
We just, like I heard the wind or the power went out, and then I heard the wind whipping. So I looked out the window and then all of a sudden the lights were flashing and I thought, oh, this is a tornado. And about the time I was trying to think, what should I do? It started rocking, and that's when I said a prayer. I just said, God, don't let anybody get hurt.
The storm is also blamed in the collapse of a nearby warehouse. West?
All right, here in central Alabama, high winds helped to fuel this fire near the ASIPCO Industrial Drive and Daniel Payne Drive. This happened earlier this morning. Birmingham Fire and Rescue confirming about 7 acres burned, but there were no structures in danger. And we're talking to the Alabama Forestry Commission on how much tonight's rain could help with the wildfires popping up across the state of Alabama. Leaders say more than 200 fires were burning as of this afternoon, thanks to dry conditions and the high winds. Forester Rick Oates says they don't expect tonight's storm to fully soak the state, but even a partial soaking, as we mentioned earlier, of at least 1 inch, it would just mean the world.
We can get 1 to 2 inches of rain tonight, that would be fantastic. It would slow things down for sure and give us a chance to catch our breath and make sure all of our equipment is in good repair and ready to go for whatever we get the rest of the week.
Oates says even with the rain tonight, it's going to be windy again tomorrow, another potential day for concern. And we're going to be talking a lot more.
Yeah, Wes, we sure are. We're going to be talking a lot more, telling you what changes the severe weather threat actually forced Marti Gras event organizers to make this year.
All right, and we are back here. We have a tornado debris signature that's been detected with this storm around Waynesboro, Mississippi. Just want to show you here. This is south of Meridian. Tornado warning, and that does include Choctaw County, Alabama until 7 o'clock this evening. Let me just back the view out so you can see where this is with respect to our area. This is way south, but you back this view out even further, and you can see where that main tornado risk is starting to unfold. It's down into the southwest part of the state. That's where we see those greatest severe weather ingredients, and we're going to see that slide on to the east. Now, I say greatest severe weather ingredients with respect to tornadoes. That's why we have that watch that's in effect, but the northern end of this could clip some of our southern counties. That's why we have the tornado watch, just to be on alert here around Chilton County. Those conditions in our far southern counties are most favorable. What do I expect for most of our area? A lot of wind, a lot of rain. And let me show you this right now. What's starting to happen is we're seeing that main line that's coming together. You can see now pushing into west Alabama. This is going to be the final push of, well, any risk for a severe storm. It's this little squall line right there, and that's producing some very potent wind gusts as it moves into west Alabama. I was noticing, let's go into Aliceville here and check out our triple threat on the Barron system, and yeah, we're seeing some signals of some powerful winds right around Clark and the Cochran area. If you're watching me here in Pickens County, just south of Pickensville, seeing those winds gusting 70, 80 miles per hour. And if we were to track this, moving to the east, and Stephanie, let's just stay on this here for a minute. I want to track this storm. You can see that is going to be moving over towards Aliceville, Union. Let's take this out about 30 to 40 miles per hour. Looks like the McMullen area around 649, Aliceville Middle School around 651. What am I seeing? The possibility for some damaging straight line wind gusts moving towards Lewiston. Now this is northern Greene County. Utah's here to the south. So these more potent winds I'm seeing with this line. I know we're under a severe thunderstorm warning down into Sumter County. Certainly could see some of those strong winds, but this one area of the radar has a good eye on it, and you can see that's moving towards Benevola. This is the Sipsey River in here. This is State Highway 14. This will cross moving into Tuscaloosa County. What am I talking about? Straight line winds possibly topping 60 miles per hour as this line moves in across Pickens County. So outside of that, what we are seeing area wide, I mentioned the winds are gusty into East Alabama and southern, northern areas all across the state, but you can clearly see some of those more potent winds there, 50 plus miles per hour, especially in areas back to the southwest. We're going to stay on top of this, continue to track these storms across the state, and we'll talk a lot more about tomorrow's weather coming up.
We sure will, Wes, and today is actually Marti Gras. Bad weather couldn't stop the good times or the parade floats from rolling. Routes were shortened or started earlier than usual. Some were actually canceled altogether. Still, large crowds came out to celebrate today despite the weather threat. Looks like a lot of fun. Now, we are still tracking storms across the area. Don't go anywhere.
the live look from Pickens County right now. Heavy rain moving in, and we have the risk here for some wind gusts over 50 miles per hour. This is a live look. First Alert Sky Vision and Alabama Property Development. That's there in Reform there at the Pickens County Airport. But we're starting to see that risk for some of those damaging winds. We're not under a tornado watch here in Pickens County, but I'm most concerned about that risk of severe storms. You see right in here just south of Reform, we are noting some areas along this line. We have a good view from the Columbus radar, but this is what we call our barren triple threat. And when we actually click, Tania, click on some of these red areas right here as we pixel query some of those. You can see, and let's clear some of that off and let's go back to that. You can see 60+ mile per hour winds there showing up with that line, and also down into northern Sumter County. So this is an area where we could have some damaging winds from Aliceville to Carrollton along Highway 14. You can see that's approaching Reform right now. So a first alert if you're from Gordo back towards Union, just stay put. I would not be out on the road and let this pass on by. It's just one line. You can see it's not too wide. It's actually now crossed over the state line, and this is going to be the final push there as far as the risk for severe storms. Now you go back into Tuscaloosa, we're seeing somewhat of a little bit of a break. We had that first line of rain and storms that moved through. Quite a bit of lightning in here, especially back into Bibb County, really popping, and that's the thing. We've had lightning strikes. We've had some down power lines, and that has resulted in some of those fires out there across the state. And looks like we actually just had a lightning strike here, I think, on Red Mountain. So you may notice a brief flash on your television screen because we did have a just a moment there where we had a strike in our area. But as we go back over to radar and what Tania is bringing up to the next 24 hours, and we're going to walk through this. Let's go back to the model, Tania, and we'll walk through the next 24 hours and just show you how all this will evolve here through tonight. And there we go. So again, you can see a lot of rain and this line of storms by 8 to 9 o'clock moving through the heart of the area, and then it's mostly over East Alabama as we get closer to midnight. And then as the storms move out, we're going to see that risk coming to an end. So even by 10 o'clock, I think for us here in West Alabama, that severe weather threat will be coming to an end. And then as we take this on into Wednesday, this is when it gets interesting. We have a lot of clouds, still some leftover rain, and could see a few snow flurries or snow showers to the north. It's going to be a cold day tomorrow. You see those 50s, that happens very early. Temperatures will be cooling off into the 30s. But right now I want to go to the 10-day forecast. Tania's standing by. Tania, I want to get you to bring up that 10-day forecast and walk us through it. Looks like for the weekend, we are going to be seeing a chance of rain on Saturday primarily, but going into Sunday now, we're not really seeing a major risk for severe weather.
All righty, Wes. Yes, we have already been seeing down trees, down power lines, as Wes has already mentioned. Here are just a few photos. This one, location was not identified, but this was sent in from Charles and Samantha Hines. A couple pictures of just how powerful those winds have been across the area, down trees in their yard. Look at the damage done to that structure there. This building completely crumbled because of those down trees. There's nothing to play with. Winds are still very strong across the area, but here's a quick check of that severe weather checklist, because you need to make sure you have multiple ways to receive warnings. I know you might be watching us right now, but if your power goes out, well, your television is not going to be the best place to get live updates and alerts. Have that NOAA weather radio on hand and on standby. Even though that main tornado risk still seems to remain south of us, we're still tracking some really strong wind gusts. First Alert Weather app is a great tool to have on your mobile device, but keep those mobile devices charged, because if they're not charged, they're no good either. The big threat for this evening is going to be those power outages from those strong winds. So you want to make sure you have multiple devices, just flashlights, things you can use to see, and be sure to secure those loose objects if you're in East Alabama before that main line of rain and storms moves through. So that's a full look at that. We're going to go back right now to our radar and go back to what we're tracking across the area. Take a look behind me. We're still seeing that main line just entering our far western counties, and this is the big story right here. So if you're in Marion County and you're wondering, hey, when will this be moving through? Well, this is that main line, and it's just hitting the far western portions of your county. Some heavy rain on and along I-22. We're actually going to change radar sites here so we can get a better glimpse of this area. There we go. Okay, so well, let's take a look now at those winds across the area, because we have been seeing those strongest winds further down south where that main threat is. Notice down into Pickens County, if I pixel query this, and if you take a look, we're still seeing winds that's possibly just under around 70 miles per hour there. This is in the southern portions of Pickens County, and we kept letting you all know that winds would be our main threat for this evening. So again, secure those outdoor objects, keep checking in for forecast updates, keep those devices nice and charged. We're keeping you weather aware and alert. This main line will move through pretty quickly and be out of here by about midnight tonight. But take a look at this, because we get closer to the first day of spring, and it's going to be feeling more like it into next week. But now is the best time to actually start fighting those seasonal allergies. Doctors say the warm and wet weather spring brings can trigger terrible allergies for many people, and they're getting worse every year as global temperatures rise. Early prevention now may save you a headache or sniffles or watery eyes later.
I advise people to start treating or preventing their allergy symptoms about a month before when they usually have trouble. The most common allergy treatments are antihistamines and corticosteroids.
And doctors advise going outside at times when there's less pollen in the air. Not looking forward to that. That tends to be the middle of today compared to the morning, the middle of the day compared to the morning and the evening hours. Okay, so that's it for the spring allergy season, but we're actually going to be tracking more about these storms and letting you know what's to come for this First Alert Weather Day. You're watching First Alert Weather Extra, and we'll be right back after the break. How much time and break? Because that scared me. Okay. Okay.
We're just gonna keep on tracking.
Do we need are you going to run like a...
There you go. That sounds perfect.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
All right, welcome back to First Alert Weather Extra. Tania, we're tracking these storms now moving into West Alabama. No severe thunderstorm warnings for Lamar and Pickens County, but our system's detecting some strong winds down in here, southern Pickens County. Now, this is far from the radar site, but we were looking at it from Columbus, and it was showing winds there over 50. A lot of what you're seeing in here is just a lot of rain, some loud rumbles, some gusty winds, though. I tell you what, it's like a tropical system out there tonight.
It certainly is, and this main line is where you're going to see the heaviest of the rainfall coming through too. So if you can get out ahead of that, if you have to run any errands this evening, this is going to be the best time to do so before this line starts to cross some of those major interstates and roads and moves further east Alabama. But notice East Alabama, hey, you guys are catching a break right now. This is the time to secure those outdoor objects. But if you're in far west Alabama, stay inside, stay indoors.
Yeah, listen, we're going to continue to track this right here. We're just going to continue storm tracking as this moves through the state. So if you're on our streaming channels, we're going to stay in wall-to-wall severe weather coverage, but on WBRC, we're going to send it back to programming. And if we do see a tornado warning, we'll dip in and let you know that there is a warning out there. But we are watching it right now, and we're going to continue to track it on the weather app. Do stay with us on all of our streaming channels.
All righty, everyone. Welcome in.
All right. Yeah, see, we still have programming in here, but I believe we are live on our streaming channels. Here we go. So we appreciate you staying with us. And Tania and I, we're going to continue to track these storms moving through the state because, Tania, it is a First Alert weather day and impactful night across the area. Absolutely.
This is still a night that you want to make sure you're weather aware and prepared and that you're checking in for updates. So I know many people are at home like, what is happening? I hear the winds.
Yeah,
my power's out. What's going on? So we want to make sure we're providing that critical information that people are looking for.
Yeah, and certainly ease any anxiety out
there
with these storms moving through. It's been a past couple of systems, and I know for a lot of you out there, if you were impacted by that last line of storms that moved through, this is very similar. The one difference in this particular system are the gradient winds.
The gradient winds.
Of this. Yeah, we say gradient winds all the time, but what we're talking about is rapid changes in pressure.
Over short distance.
Yeah, short distance. And yesterday, you know, we had sunshine, it was calm. And I always say when we go through a fast weather change, when you go from a sunny day to, we're going to be talking about 30s again, and in the matter of 48 hours, you're going to see when you have rapid changes in temperature, there are rapid changes in pressure, and that drives the wind. So that's why tonight it is so impactful out there across the state. And you know, Tania, a lot of times when we have these lines, we have a tornado threat, it might be one or two tornadoes, but from an aerial perspective, this system can have more of a larger impact across the state.
Yeah, and that's exactly what many people are saying right now. They're seeing the impacts that those winds are having on their homes, their trees, knocking down power lines. We've been seeing brush fires, so there's other impacts, and why we declare First Alert Weather Days. It doesn't just have to be a tornado threat.
Yeah, exactly. It's all about impactful. I know there was a time where you might only see a First Alert Weather Day for a tornado warning, but we've learned that you want to know anything that's impactful to you. So that is why we call these alert days, for a day that's certainly going to impact or disrupt your plans. And this is a system. Tonight, actually, today I had my brother, he's a coach for a Little League baseball team. He called and he said, do I need to cancel practice? I said, yeah. They were having practice around 6 o'clock, and here we are approaching 7. You can see quite a bit of lightning around the Tuscaloosa area, a lot of rain. But one thing the Weather Service most likely, I need to check on the latest chat, but we're probably seeing strong storm advisories in these areas, but that's not to say we couldn't have some damaging wind gusts.
Yeah, absolutely. Damaging wind gusts are going to be one of our main impacts for this evening. And there's actually a few counties that are included under that tornado watch. We can actually toggle that on.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and back that view out too, Tania, because there was one storm, and let's show, we have folks that watch us here on the streams, not only in Alabama, but all across the region, even down into South Alabama. There was a tornado warning that was for Wayne County over in Mississippi, for Waynesboro, and we had a debris signature with that. That storm is moving into Washington County, Alabama. So if you have connections there into southwest Alabama, you know, that's where we saw, Tania. We were looking at those severe weather parameters, and you showed a map last week. We saw it. It moved to the south. That wind shear and instability. Listen, if there's two things you need for a tornado, what is it?
Wind shear and instability.
So, I mean, that's the thing. And we know we have the wind energy across the state,
Absolutely.
but the dew points were in the 40s at 5 o'clock
Yeah.
for parts of the area.
I don't think we warmed up as much as we needed to either. And we had some chilly conditions last night, a little bit of rain ahead of that main line of storms. It's going to help to limit some of that instability too. And that's part of the reason why we're just saying that greatest risk still just remains further to our south. There's a few counties included in that tornado watch, but I'm still very hopeful that for this evening, we won't see a lot of tornadoes come across our viewing area, even for our far southern counties. I'm still thinking that our main threat's still going to be the heavy rain, the winds, those stronger winds across the area, frequent lightning, and of course, all of that pans into other impacts like the power outages, the downed trees, and stuff like that. So,
yeah,
hey.
so we're going to continue. Yeah, we're going to watch this. I'm going to step back over to the wall here
Okay.
and track these storms, Tania, and I'll let you just kind of go along that line and use the future scan, and let's time this out as that line of storms moves to the east direction. So right now, as it's right at 7 o'clock, the only tornado warning that we see close to home is, of course, well south of our area. This is down into the Pine Belt of Mississippi and moving into Washington County, Alabama. But what we have is a squall line type setup. You hear the term QLCS thrown around a lot, quasi-linear convective system. Listen, from old school, this is just a squall line. That's basically what we've always called these here in Alabama, and it's a line of wind and rain and some embedded storms. And actually, the lightning count is, have we taken, okay, so this is going out to 725, but
Yes.
let's start this out current, and I just want to show where we have lightning with this, Tania, right now, because mostly the further north you go, it's just a lot of wind and a lot of rain, but there's 7 o'clock, so that's live, that's current view.
This is the
Do we have the light?
This is live right here. This is
Okay.
7:02 right now.
So I see
Yes.
we do have some lightning strikes showing up around Alabaster. These are older strikes, but not a lot of lightning with this little, basically it looks like a slither of heavy rain that's moving through Marion, Lamar, and Pickens County, but we don't see intense frequent lightning with that right now. Most of the lightning is further south where we have the more unstable air. So let's walk folks through this, Tania. We're going to
All
take
right.
this out to 7:15. 7:03. Let's take this out. So we'll stop it right there. So by 7:15, pushing through Hamilton, approaching Winfield, Fayette areas, moving into Gordo and impacting areas along Highway 159 back into Tuscaloosa County and then Utah. Let's take this out to, let's go to 7:45. Let's take it on out and move the time here. And what you're looking at is future radar. So we're giving you that 60-minute advantage on this line of storms. Now we'll need to watch this. This is around 7:45. Notice how we see this line, some breaks here to the south. We'll have to watch some of these areas for some possible rotation. Demopolis, we're right there on that tornado watch, so we need to keep an eye on this. This is at 7:45. That threat starts to impact places like Demopolis, Forkland, pushing in towards Sawyerville, Greensboro, approaching Moundville, Foster's, Romulus, and Tuscaloosa, Northport, Samantha. It's out of Fayette by that time, according to our forecast data at 7:45, but pushing in closer to Double Springs and also approaching the city of Jasper. So that line you can see by 7:45 there, approaching Jasper and Walker County and also crossing into Winston County. Still seeing mostly a lot of rain. Know that out ahead of this across most of our area, it is going to stay quite blustery out there with those gradient winds gusting over 40 miles per hour. So let's take it on out to 8 o'clock, and as we move into that 8 o'clock time frame, we'll see the push across Jasper and Tuscaloosa and into Demopolis. You know, Tania, the timing on this, it's been rather consistent. I mean, it's shown 6 to 8 o'clock. Again, you know, this line still could intensify. I still can't rule out some severe storms. I think mostly what we're going to see here, widespread winds gusting over 40 miles per hour. We've already had several situations like that, but we could see a few thunderstorm warnings start to develop further north as this line moves east and it intensifies. The main threat with those storms, damaging straight line winds. Can't rule out an isolated tornado as well, again, for those areas to the south. That tornado watch actually is in effect until 1 o'clock in the morning, and that does include areas to the south. So that's taking it to 8 o'clock. The new data here actually takes it out 2 hours. So let's just take it on out to 8:30, Tania, just so we can see. It looks like around 8:30 to 9 o'clock, this is going to be pushing in closer to Bessemer, pushing in towards Smith Lake and Centerville. And listen, if you're following us on the streams, you can share this link with your friends and your followers here on digital. The good thing about it is we're getting some much needed rain, and notice behind this, threat is ending by 8:30 for West Alabama, most of West Alabama. This will be around Centerville, pushing in towards Vance and Brookwood, and entering into Jefferson County right there from 8:30 to 9 o'clock, pushing through Jasper. I mentioned Smith Lake area, but over around Empire, Corner, Hayden, if you're watching me around Cleveland, Nectar. And what can you expect? That one question that I receive a lot during these severe weather events, and listen, that's what we're here for, is to answer your questions, walk you through these events. And just to let you know, if you are at any location in the coverage area, my main concern for you will be these strong winds that we're dealing with at the moment. Now, once this line reaches where you are, hopefully it will weaken. It's not a slow moving line. It's going to move through fairly quickly, but there will be a risk that we could have some through your area. So straight line winds, the
People
biggest
said no
concern
sound,
tonight.
No sound on their TVs? I just want to make sure we have some sound.
Okay.
Right.
So we had, if you are listening to us now, we had a lot of folks saying that they could not hear the sound. So make sure the volume is cranked up on your streaming device now, because we have fixed that audio issue. But
Wes,
right,
I just want to let you know,
Yeah.
I have our live streaming up, so if people have questions, they're more than welcome to ask questions in the chat, and we can answer questions as we're going throughout the night tonight, and just give people the support and information that they're looking for.
Yeah, well, let's go over to Nia. I know a lot of folks are joining us right now here on the chat, so yeah, leave us your questions right now. We're just going to all walk through this together as we track these storms through the state.
Yeah, absolutely. So let me finish walking you guys through the next 2 hours. If you have questions, drop them in the chat, whether you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, or whatever app that you're using. If you're watching on the WBRC First Weather app, if you have that capability to drop questions in there, we can make this a little bit more personal. We can talk to you. We can let you know that we're here to walk you through this. The one good thing about this evening is that the tornado threat remains very low, but that doesn't mean there won't be impacts from this system. We've been talking about those winds being a main concern. They're going to be very strong as this main line pushes through. We've already been seeing gusty winds earlier, but can you imagine winds gusting up 50 to even 70 miles per hour? Those are damaging winds. So that's one of our impacts for this evening. That will cause power outages. That's also one of the big impacts for the area. Down trees, down power lines, all that stuff. So let's walk through this. Let's continue to time this out here and finish this, or as we use our 2-hour advantage, we get to show you guys when this line will be moving through your area. So this is one of the big areas, one of the main populated areas. If we look at the metro, Jefferson County, crossing I-65, highly traveled roadways right here. We're going to see that main line of storm stretching across I-65 and beginning to pass over I-65 in Coleman County, moving in towards the Gardendale, Birmingham area just around 8:59, 9 o'clock. So we still have some time before that main line reaches East Alabama. So if you're in East Alabama and you still need to run some errands, it is only 7 o'clock. We're still giving you about an hour, hour and a half buffer time to go get those errands done and out the way. So main line begins to cross I-65 just before 9 p.m., giving you all that first alert. Let's keep timing this out here. Oh, also stretching down further south, you can see how the line kind of curves a little bit back. That main line pushing through Bibb County right around 9 p.m. and the center of Perry County there. And Perry's actually included in that tornado watch until 1 a.m., I believe. Let's double check that. Yep, tornado watch in Perry County until 1 a.m. So just letting you all know that main line entering your area then. So let's continue to fast forward here and get closer to 2 hours out. All right, just after 9 o'clock is 2 hours out. Can't do math. No, just kidding. 7, 8, 9. So 9:09 p.m. That main line again crossing I-65, that I-65 corridor. So if you can get inside before then and you need to travel on I-65, right now is the best time to do that before the next 2 hours. Now let's go back to that live radar and let's take a look at where that line is at the current moment. Good news is, like Wes was mentioning, lightning is at a low. We're not seeing a whole lot of lightning with this system. I zoomed in here from Marion County, 0 lightning strikes in the last hour or so. This is over towards Highway 43, Marion County, Hamilton. This main line has just passed the Hamilton area, so you guys are actually in the clear. You can expect more heavy rain if anything, but this main line is literally past your area. If you're in Lamar County, main line already passed you, okay? This is starting to enter into Walker County. We have Walker County actually over here. We have Fayette County, excuse me. So Fayette, and this is the southern portions of Marion County up towards Guin, Interstate 22 in the city of Brilliant. So you guys will be getting that main line entering your area very shortly. And then this is going to move through Fayette and impacting the city of Fayette in the next, I would say, about 30 minutes or so, moving pretty quickly through that area. Let's go further down here. If you're in parts of Pickens County, if you're in Carrollton and Pickensville, that main line already passed you. So if you need to run out, don't drive further to the east. Stay in the western portions of your county and go get those errands done if you need to do anything tonight. But that main line moving very quickly through your county and starting to head towards the city of Gordo. It's already passed the city of Aliceville. So if you're over towards Aliceville area, you're in the clear as well. And as we move further down south, I'll change radar sites here so that we can get a better look of those storms further down south of our area. And the one thing to note about this is that we're actually seeing this main line moving through the Livingston area at the current moment. So giving you all that first alert, if you're in the Livingston area, that main line of storms impacting you all at this exact moment. That's over towards Highway 11, and this is going to continue to track further to the east, but still not seeing a whole lot of energy with this system. So that's the one good thing to note. The one thing to also note is that the winds are going to be the main impact, and I've been seeing people in the chat saying, hey, winds were a big deal. Someone says, I have storm anxiety. Hey, listen, many people do. If you've ever experienced a tornado outbreak of a day and a tornado was near your area, whether it destroyed your home or impacted your surrounding area, it's still so scary. But the good thing is, hopefully this eases your anxiety. We're not seeing a major tornado threat for this evening. Winds, heavy rain. So hopefully that eases your stress for tonight. And the thing about this is that by the time you go to bed, this is going to be long gone. So if you're up till about 10 o'clock and you're in West Alabama, this is far past your area. That main line is literally moving through your area as we speak. And it's eventually going to be impacting the eastern counties by later on tonight. So areas I-65 and further to the west, if you're in those areas, by about, I would say 8 o'clock, this is not going to be impacting you. By about 9, 8 o'clock, West Alabama will be in the clear from that main line of storms. This is going to continue to impact our eastern counties till about midnight with lingering showers through at least around 2 a.m. But as we're looking at, this is one of our tools that we have here in the Weather Center. It shows us hail, rain, wind shear. Not seeing a whole lot of wind shear. Definitely seeing some periods and pockets of heavy rainfall with that main line and maybe some hail within that main line. But other than that, guys, it's not very... it's not a big, I'm not seeing the ingredients being sustained for the possible tornado threat or tornado outbreak across the area. Notice that tornado watch isn't even in effect for much of central Alabama. This is still further down south of us. Like I mentioned, the only counties included in that tornado watch, if I take you to our actual graphic, you'll be able to see here that that tornado watch is in effect for the following counties. We have Sumter, Greene, Hale, Perry, Chilton County, and then that includes areas further south of us. So even if you're in these far northern counties west, I mean, not northern counties of central Alabama, but I'm saying far north of where the tornado watch is at, this is still just the outside rim of where that tornado threat is still at. It's still mainly further south.
Yeah, if you had to put everything on a scale of 0 to 10, I mean, this would be a 0 to 1, right? And then the further south you go, you get more of a 6 to 7.
There you go.
And those higher levels. I do want to go over and just check out some of our camera views that we have across the state. Again, with this line moving through, let's take a quick look here where the storms are located. And listen, this line's trying to bow out. If you're in Tuscaloosa, get ready. We're about to have some potent winds moving through with this line. Same for Fayette. Right now from Hamilton back to Winfield and Guin, that line is approaching. And also you can see down in Greene County, we start to see those severe thunderstorm warnings. Even though the Weather Service, they're not issuing severe thunderstorm warnings, that does not mean that we could not be seeing winds of 50 miles per hour. I mean, 40, 50 mile per hour winds, as we know, 30 mile per hour winds was bringing down power lines and trees today. So
I mean, we have literally, someone said no power in Bibb County. That was from Amy. So I was just literally about to pull up our power grid map that we can show that shows what areas are without power.
Let's go quickly here to, and I'll let
Someone said it's Starkville clear. Starkville's clear. That main line.
It is pouring right now at Reform. Look at that. And did
this camera's down.
Okay, so were we able to get that camera server?
We did reset all of them.
Okay.
Okay, Calhoun County's back up.
Yeah, so gusts to 36 miles per hour, and this is
that's
this
far
is way,
east.
Yeah, way before the storms. Let's go to Tuscaloosa here. Let's check out that view. Just type it there, Tania, Tuscaloosa. Well, yeah, there we go. We have the view at the amphitheater, and let's just check out the current conditions right now. So 60.
Looks like some rain coming down.
Yeah. Look
46 mile per hour wind gusts, though.
You can see this is actually looking back in the direction of where the old Tuscaloosa News building, the newer building that was built. But you can see right there along the river, along the Warrior River at the Tuscaloosa Amphitheater, seeing those trees really starting to sway there. And a lot of rain starting to move in. And it looks like a little raindrop here about to cover up the lens. Wow, 46 mile per hour wind. Wow. I mean, I was mentioning earlier, I mean, we've stayed on here talking about tropical systems moving into the region, and out of about the last 3 or 4 tropical systems that have moved into the state, I don't think we've seen a night like this.
These winds are no joke. From this system, you would think this is a tropical system.
Exactly. 39 mile per hour winds, that is tropical storm force. And I see a lot of you are now joining us, and just a reminder that we are streaming. Listen, we have a weather app. We talk about that a lot.
Asking about Coosa County.
Oh, Coosa County. So yeah, we'll give you some updates here. And if you have questions, just let us know. We're on YouTube streaming right now. So we have a real-time chat going on YouTube, and you can follow along with us, and we'll answer your questions and comments. So go to our YouTube channel.
They're concerned because last week they got hit with a tornado. Coosa County had a tornado last week, so they're concerned, and they're included. Is Coosa included in the tornado watch too?
Coosa County
is.
Yeah. So
they're just nervous, you know.
No, actually,
no,
Coosa
they're
County,
not.
Coosa is Chilton County.
Chilton is, that's the closest it goes.
But it's the southern part of the coverage area. If you are in Coosa County, let's go back to radar.
Yeah.
Just leave that up here, and I'll put this in a lapse. But if you are in Coosa County, the main concern will be straight line winds. And listen, I know last week we did have, the last event, we had a tornado. We had an impactful system that moved through. Just know that it's an isolated threat. With respect to the winds, mostly what we're seeing right now is what we're going to continue to see. As this moves further east, hopefully the instability won't have time to recover. That's the thing about a system like this. It's so energetic. It's been able to pull some of that instability north, but even with that happening, so far these storms, you get closer to Birmingham and Tuscaloosa, so far they're staying just below severe level. So hopefully we get this through here. The good news is this will move through before midnight. It's not a 2 or 3 a.m. We got to stay up all night and see what happens with this. And so far, we have not had a tornado warning in our area. Just based on what I'm seeing so far, Tania, and if we get this, through the southwest part of the coverage area without a warning, it's highly unlikely we'll see a tornado warning. Mostly, if we see anything, it would be a severe thunderstorm warning with this as this line tracks to the east.
People ask, is this a fast-moving system? I would say yes.
Oh yeah, and I mean this thing's moving fast. That's the thing, is it's moving through tonight. So tomorrow, we have the colder air moving in, and it's been just such a rapid change in the weather ingredients here across the state. Fast changes leads to fast weather, as I always say.
True.
I mean, a lot of changes out there. But I was mentioning earlier, a lot of folks don't know about this, Tania. With the weather app, we talk about that all the time. We have a WBRC streaming app.
Yeah.
And if you have Fire TV, if you have devices, where you access Hulu, Fire TV, or Roku, you can find us on those streaming platforms by searching WBRC, the streaming app. And also what you'll find is we have a 24-hour weather channel on there. And you may not know about our 24-hour stream that shows radar, shows forecasts. You can always flip over to that stream and see the latest 7 and 10-day forecast, or just let it run. If you have your weather center going at home with all the televisions, you can keep that 24-hour stream going. But just to let you know about that, a lot of folks don't know about it. That's where you can find it, is on the WBRC stream. But Tania, update us on those power outages. I'm going to step over. I'm monitoring the chat, and we'll get back to the big picture here in a minute and track these storms across the state.
2,500 homes without power in Shelby County, and I just saw someone, Darren Henderson, said no power in Shelby County. Oh, hate that for you. But listen, hey, I hope you're on some kind of device, so you do have a flashlight, right? I'm hoping you do, because now that the sun is going down, of course, it's going to be hard to see in your home. Light some candles if you have to, and set the mood for the night. But if you're in Walker County, someone asked when will the storms be in the Walker County area. Pull me back up here at the pod real quick. If you're in the Walker County area, and I'm taking you through that 2-hour advantage, Walker County just around 7:50 is going to be entering the far portions of Walker County and then moving completely through that area about 8:40. So from about 7:50 to 8:40, that's when that main line will be moving through Walker County for someone that asked that question there. Weogufka, we had a tornado last week. What a tornado. I know. Oh my goodness. Nothing to play around with, guys. We have power now. Woo! Darren Henderson, we're in Shelby County near Vincent, and they have power now. Let's go, Connie. All right. How fast is the system moving through Tuscaloosa? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Okay, so here's Tuscaloosa. Here we are right now. This is 7:20-ish hour, and then we're watching it move through. It's literally just hitting Tuscaloosa, so the main line hasn't even crossed you guys just yet, but it'll be through your area. I'd say about halfway through the area, about 8 o'clock. And then right around 8:30, it's going to be pushing more into Jefferson County. So hopefully that answers your question there. Little off topic. Love your blouse, Tania. Oh, thank you. The wind is crazy here in Jasper, by the way. I know. That's the big thing. I mean, winds are wild. Let's go to the current wind gusts because I'd love to see what these winds are doing right now. Let's see. DMA current
Tania,
wind gusts.
I was just noticing, JP posted the barometric pressure
50.
right now. 29.64 inches of mercury. So, I mean, no wonder. I mean,
that winds are so, yeah.
Low pressure out there right
Those
now.
strongest winds are really near that line of storms. I mean, we're seeing winds exceeding 50 miles per hour in parts of Pickens down to Greene County. So the winds are no joke. Look, 56-mile-per-hour winds in Bibb, and the main line of storms is not even near your area yet. It hasn't even pushed through Tuscaloosa County. So if you're in Bibb County, I would be prepared and get ready for some power outages because, listen, that's likely going to be what you're going to deal with for tonight, I'm sure. Yes, flashlights. I'm in the town of Shelby. Good. Way to go. Where can Sylacauga see it? Oh, when? Okay, Sylacauga. You got a while. So after 9 o'clock for Sylacauga. That's Talladega County? Let's see.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, you got a while. So you have some time. I mean, it's after 9 o'clock. After even 9:20, hasn't even hit Talladega County yet. So that's just me pulling up our 2-hour advantage. So for Lynn Brown, who asked that one. Bessemer, okay, let's go through the Bessemer area. That's Jefferson County. So if you're in Bessemer area, I would say it's probably pushing through Bessemer right around the 8:30 time frame, but it's going to be out pretty quickly, 8:50. So Bessemer between 8:30, 8:50, that's when you'll see that main line of storms impacting your area. Wind is crazy here in Center, Wise Lake. Yeah, please be safe, everyone. If you can get off those roads, if you're in West Alabama, get off the roads. If you're in East Alabama, hurry up with those errands. Get them done before 9 o'clock, and you'll be good. Someone said Transformer just blew in Adamsville. I'm telling you, what about Anniston, Pinson, Hale County? All right, guys, we're going to walk through this timing, so we'll just talk about everybody. How about that? Since everybody wants to know. So here's one of the cool tools we have. If you're just now tuning in, you're like, hey, what's going on? Well, we're tracking a line of rain and storms across the area. This is that system that's been bringing those really strong winds for us this evening. And really, it's been windy all day today. We had a wind advisory go into effect at noon today, and it won't expire until afternoon Wednesday. We're talking about 3 p.m. Wednesday. So these winds are going to be an issue for the next several hours. And this is all because we have this system moving through, and this tight pressure gradient is what's causing these winds to be a lot stronger than they typically are when these systems move through. So we're seeing this line of rain and storms. The good thing is instability is low, wind shear is low. We're seeing very little lightning, very few lightning strikes across the area. But one of the cool tools we have is that we have this 2-hour nowcast tool that we can walk through and look at future radar and basically kind of time out when that main line of storms is going to be pushing through your specific area. So I mentioned far west Alabama. You know, if you're to the west of Hamilton and all the way down to the far western portions of Sumter County, that main line has already moved past your area. So you are in the clear. Yes, it might be still raining. It's going to be pretty breezy out there, but that main line of storms has already moved through. And for those of you who, let me get a little bit closer here. We're going to zoom in, get some more of those cities to pop up. Okay, so this is 7:30. So right, this is 7:38. So right now it's about 7:25. We're seeing that line of storms just crossing that Marion County, Winston County borderline, getting closer to the Fayette and Walker County borderline just around 7:40. And then it's going to be in still far west Tuscaloosa County, excuse me, and then stretching down towards I-2059, impacting Greene County there. But this is going to continue to move further east. So hopefully that answers some of your questions. And if you know what county you're in, you'll be able to identify what time it's going to be moving through. So around 7:45, 7:50 time frame, we'll see it pushing further into Walker County, not even hitting Jasper just yet, but over towards Winston County. Let's see what cities are in that vicinity of this line. Double Springs. Okay, so impacting Double Springs right around 7:50. So you got about 25 minutes there before some heavy rain pushes through your area. And if we zoom in here, you'll see it moving across Highway 43 and Highway 6 in the Tuscaloosa County area, stretching down to Moundville and impacting parts of Greene County near Greensboro, New Bern, Moundville area in Tuscaloosa. So that is the 7:50 time frame. Let's reset our map and we'll continue to walk through it. All right, let's go to about 8:15. Here we go. Here's 8:15. Now it's crossing that Winston-Coleman County line. So at 8:15, it's about 45 minutes, right? If I do math right, is that right? 45 minutes or so passing Winston and Coleman County. We'll see it crossing Walker County there, the Jasper area, right around 8:15. Further into East Tuscaloosa County and down towards that Hale County, Perry County, Bibb County borderline. So kind of just timing this out. I know this might seem very tedious, but I see a lot of questions. Everybody wants to know, when is it coming through? Centerville sustained and gust winds, please. Okay, I can give you wind gusts in just a second. I don't even have access to any radar. Yep. Aniana, oh yeah. So if you're in Blount County, the main line of storms will hit your county at around 9 o'clock. So you still have some time. So yes, you're probably getting the rain right now. Yes, those strong winds. And then notice, this is as far as our 2-hour advantage goes out. This is just before 9:30. And you see that line really breaking up as it hits our far eastern counties, or really just crossing I-65 here. Blount down to Shelby and down into Perry County there. That's where that line will be at. So more delayed as far as this main line of storms the further south we go, but it'll be pushing through a lot quicker. So if you're north of I-20, this is moving very fast. And it should probably be hitting that Talladega County area, I would say closer to about 10 o'clock. So if you're in the Talladega County area, right around 10 p.m. and into far east Alabama after that. All right, Saturday Night Fever. Somebody wants his disco shirt back. All right, Jason. All right. Let's go to winds. Let's take a look at those wind gusts right now across the area, because I know this is just one of the big impacts that we're dealing with. We're looking at those stronger winds. It's still very windy in East Alabama, so I'm not trying to exclude you all. I mean, we're still seeing 40+ mile-per-hour winds there in Clay County, but the strongest winds that are exceeding about 50 miles per hour are down into West Alabama, Southwest specifically, 51 in Greene, 58 in Hale County there, up towards Fayette, 52 mile-per-hour wind gusts. It is so windy out there. And if I take you to our sustained winds, where these are just more consistent winds, those are winds gusting up to, those are wind gusts. So let's look at the sustained winds. Let's see if their graphic is in here.
Let me jump in here, Tania, and we'll go ahead and you can go ahead and bring up that wind and I'll we'll track these storms. There you go. Yeah, I was going to help you out there. With
all right, let's get it. Let's get it.
Yeah, so let's go ahead. You had those winds there showing winds gusting over 40 miles per hour. Let's get back to the radar and just show folks, because we have winds here on Red Mountain gusting over 40 miles per hour. The air pressure, it has dropped all the way to 1,003 millibars. We have lowering pressure, and that's why these winds just continue to increase out there. This powerful low pressure system that's tracking to the north of us, and that's driving, as you can see, this line now that has really intensified across West Alabama, pushing through Fayette, pushing through Winston County, and now crossing into, actually pushing through Marion County, now crossing into places like Natural Bridge. If you're watching me around the Delmer area and Haleyville, this this is about to move in. This main line with the gusty winds, it's been windy already, but if we do see winds any higher, it's likely going to be in this embedded line here. No severe thunderstorm warnings with this though right now. Am I correct on that, Tania? Do you have the warnings toggled on?
Let's see here.
So I'm not seeing, okay, so we do. So let's go to Tuscaloosa County right now under a severe thunderstorm warning at this time until 8:15. And you can see right in here, Tania, a little Boeing segment. Let's get in here for a closer view because that area right there looks suspicious with respect to damaging straight line winds. Let's actually go over to the triple threat and take a look at this. Are we on Birmingham radar?
Yes.
Okay, so let's go to the triple threat. And, okay, let's look at it from Columbus on the triple threat. Let's bring in GWX and take a look at that. So right there, put a query on that. So this is going to be along Highway 171 around the Ecola and Brownsville area, seeing indications of some damaging winds 50 to 60 miles per hour. And more than likely, this is going to be crossing Lake Tuscaloosa and maintaining intensity here. So there's Samantha. North River, north sides in this area as well. I was just out at Westwood Middle School and or Walker Elementary. Listen to me, Westwood, I've got another visit coming up, but I was out at Walker Elementary School earlier in the week and last week, and in this area here from Northside and Walker and Ram Country, as we call it, and areas to the south towards Benyon Heights, all these areas, be ready over the next 30 minutes for some very strong winds that will be moving through. You don't want to be out on the road in a situation like this, and this is one of those nights where I would say if you're not in a site-built structure, you certainly want to try to be in one of those until this passes, because you can have tornado-like damage with a setup like this, those powerful straight line winds, and that's what we're dealing with. And actually, as Tania is pointing out, and you go further south, even some stronger indications of some powerful winds around the Buell and Coker areas. Look at this, 60, 70 mile per hour winds. This is closing in on the Warrior Parkway, the Toll Bridge Road out here on the west side of town. There's Coker, there is Bel Air Estates, and I believe we've got the storm tracker in Tuscaloosa right now. Kenny, can we go to Taylor at this time? Okay. Hey, Taylor, so we're going back to you in the First Alert Storm Tracker. We're tracking a severe thunderstorm warning now for Tuscaloosa County. It looks like some powerful winds over the western part of the county. Exactly where are you guys located right now?
Okay. Hey, yeah, we are out here in Tuscaloosa County. We're actually on the way to a report of a house fire, and I did confirm actually with Tuscaloosa County EMA's director that there is a fire for sure. It's off of Warrior Road, so that is where we are on our way to right now. It actually looks like we just drove up on the scene. I'm going to give you a look at the scene right here. We do know, again, we're just now rolling up to the scene of this house fire. We have been able to confirm that everyone was able to make it out of this house fire safely, so that is the good news. It is unknown at this time whether lightning played any sort of role into this house fire. We are hoping to get that, or see if maybe fire rescue on the scene would be able to give us a little bit more information. We don't know when exactly the fire started either, but again, we're working to bring you more information about this house fire that we just rolled up to, and to just give you sort of a recap of what we've seen out here in Tuscaloosa. With, you know, the rain actually just died down, I'd say within the last 15 minutes or so, but earlier we did see lots of rain, we saw lots of lightning, and of course that wind has been the big talker for this system. Such strong wind, gusts of up to 40 miles per hour, impacting a lot of people who are out traveling today, including the trucking community. We spoke with several people who stopped at a truck stop off of Skyland Boulevard. They told us, especially if they have very light loads, that this wind, they can create huge problems for them. Even gusts as low as 15 miles per hour, we're told, can create. So many of them chose to just pull over and wait out this storm, rest, fuel up, weigh their trucks. So that has been the big talker, of course, is that wind, and then of course lots of lightning across the Tuscaloosa area. And that rain again has died down, but we are on the scene of that house fire. Here's another look at that. Right now, I'm not sure if you're able to see, this is our Rough Rider camera, and it is in night mode, but you can see emergency personnel on the scene of this house fire that we, again, just rolled up to. This is in the Holt community. It's off of Warrior Road. So we are actually about to get out here now and see if we can talk to firefighters and learn a little bit more. But we do know everyone made it out of this house fire. Don't believe there are any injuries, but we are working to bring you a little bit more information about this house fire. So I am going to send things back to you, Wes and Tania, your breaking news reporter in Tuscaloosa. WBRC 6 News on your side.
Okay, Taylor, and we will
Thanks,
check
Taylor.
Yeah, and we're going to check back in with you. Tania and I, we were just sitting there sending out some updates on some of our Twitter and other platforms there. I was sending out this severe thunderstorm warning. Actually, Tania, correct me if I'm wrong here, but this is the only severe thunderstorm warning we've seen today, right, in our area.
This one was issued at about 7:27 p.m., and this one's in effect till 8:15, but this is the only one that we've seen in our area. I mean, excluding the one that was in Sumter County.
Well, yeah, okay, so yeah, Sumter County, that one to the south, but it's a severe thunderstorm warning, but still with this entire event tonight, and I know for a lot of you out there, you're like, what is the deal with this wind? It is just one of these powerful mid-latitude systems here, and it's bringing some very sharp changes in pressure, and with that it's driving up those wind speeds. So even before the storms get to where you are, we're going to continue, even for Birmingham, north, south, east, see those winds 40 plus miles per hour. But along this main line, there are some areas where we're seeing some of those wind enhancements. And in Tuscaloosa, listen, if you're in Tuscaloosa County right now, you do not want to be out on the road. I know Taylor and teams in the First Alert Storm Tracker, and if they are listening too, they also need to be kind of getting in position in a safe spot until these stronger winds pass, because we have seen some gust out there with some storms. Even starting today, I noticed with this particular system, a lot of wind energy, several damage reports back into parts of Texas and Louisiana as this started out. And now it seems like as though as this is moving through Alabama, it's sort of recycling, and we're seeing this line intensifying. But the line at this point is right over Coker. It's right over Lake Lurleen, out here towards County High. And I mentioned north, there's North River and Pier 43, Tania. If we could bring that, we might have that camera view. We might actually have to go in and reselect that camera. I believe we do have that. Actually, I'll pull that up, Tania. You go ahead and bring the radar up. We'll go back to you and you continue to track that. But it would be interesting to see that view on Lake Tuscaloosa right now.
Pier 43 camera is currently not up, so
let me actually, if we go in
and log in. Want me to log into the camera?
No, you go ahead. You just track this.
Okay,
and
I got you.
I'll pull that camera view up, because it just the scene probably needs to be resaved.
All right, so here we are looking at that one severe thunderstorm warning, and that's only in effect for the county of Tuscaloosa. But I just wanted to also remind you that Tuscaloosa County is not included in that tornado watch. The tornado watch is only including Sumter, Greene, Hale, and over towards Chilton County. And I think it also includes Perry County as well. But Tuscaloosa is the only area that we're seeing a severe thunderstorm warning in effect. And the one thing to note here, if you look at the amount of lightning strikes, I know this might be pretty small from your television or from your screen at home, but we're only seeing about 4 lightning strikes, and this is just showing this specific area. So up towards Highway 43 and down towards Highway 82, 4 lightning strikes. Still not a lot of energy with this. So that's one good thing to note, but that doesn't mean those winds aren't posing an issue or a problem for that area. But we noticed that winds, I mean, they're pretty strong and they're still kicking. Here we are looking at those winds exceeding 60 miles per hour, 80 mile per hour winds over towards one of these subdivisions, the Arnadra subdivision. Excuse me if I mispronounced that.
That's around Flatwoods Elementary School. So folks around Flatwoods Elementary School, the Toll Bridge Road, around the Tuscaloosa, the new EMA building, folks they're familiar with. So that's where we're seeing this. Now what you're looking at, this triple threat, as Tania is showing you, this is a proprietary product, and what happens is after the radar scans, we see some of this data come in to show us. We kind of dive in and remove some of the clutter, and actually, speaking of remove the clutter, we can do that right now, Tania. We can actually clear away where we're seeing the heavy rain and just show where we have the winds. We can actually just go take all that off. Where are the strongest winds? And if we go in right now, you can see around North Valley Acres getting really close.
Ridge Road. Yeah, heading towards Graceland Acres.
So here's Lake Tuscaloosa over here.
Okay, Rose Boulevard.
There's Lake Tuscaloosa. North River Yacht Club's going to be back in this area, back to the right of your screen. So there's Carrollwood, Lakewood, and Pier 43 is going to be in this area as well. I was mentioning right there on Lake Tuscaloosa. So anywhere, if you're from Samantha, north side, Samantha Point South, in towards Hagler Mill Estates, it looks like the strongest winds have now passed Sawmill Road, moving towards Graceland Acres. There's North Valley Acres as well, Dockery Lane. Let's get in here, North Country Drive, Frank Larry Road. So if you're on Frank Larry Road, here comes those stronger winds. This is right around Grand Point Boulevard at this time, Home Place Road and Saraland Road. So zooming in, you can see there's Huntington Place. I mentioned Huntington Place, and I said Flatwoods earlier today. I was thinking Huntington Place, Huntington Place Elementary School.
Gotcha.
But you can see right there is Huntington Place, and there's County High, and you can see it's right there at County High, Mitt-Larry Road, about to cross Highway 43 in Northport. So if you are in those areas, that's where we're seeing the strongest part of this severe thunderstorm right now. Indications where we do have some of those winds gusting over 70 miles per hour. So let's get back over to the radar. And and the thing is, you know, with these winds, we started showing some of those forecast wind speeds last week, and they were showing 67, 70 miles per hour. And if you see data like that gets shared on social media, passed around the internet, let me just tell you that what folks sharing that are not seeing is that the models do not handle in the long range the reality of those winds at the surface. They don't do a good job with terrain and surface features and topography. There's still a lot of research going into that. So what happens is it's mostly picking up the winds that are above the surface. And let me tell you, all the time we have situations around here, we have 30-mile-per-hour winds, but you go up 4,000 or 5,000 feet, those winds are racing out of the south, rapidly racing out of the south at 50, 60 miles per hour. Now that's what we're seeing tonight. We've got winds. You go higher up in the atmosphere. I mentioned earlier, you step outside here on Red Mountain and you can hear it on our transmission tower. It sounds like a jet engine out there, but that strong south wind has really kicked in tonight. But the thing is, can some of that wind get pulled to the surface? And what happens with these storms as they move in, you get a lot of rain, you get downdrafts, and it can kind of take some of that mid-level air and where we have that low-level jet and pull some of that down to the surface. You'll notice back behind this, there's a little a notch, as we call it, along this line of storms right here, sort of a bow echo. And anytime when you're looking at a radar signature like that, what that tells me is that there are some wind enhancements in this part of the line. So I definitely think you go north of Coker, probably out of this, we're going to see some of the more potent wind gusts with this about to cross Highway 43. It's sort of ramping up now as that moves across Lake Tuscaloosa. Now, it's not a tornado warning, but I just stress with a night like this where we have a squall line, an intense line of storms that moves across the state, you can end up with wind damage that equates to a low-end tornado. I know often every time you see damage, most of the time you might think, hey, we had a tornado, but a lot of times you would be surprised at what some of these straight line winds can do with respect to storm damage. But it's interesting that right now we have a lot of our cameras here in the studio, and I can see the cameras sort of doing this because the building is shaking from the gusty winds that we have here at the moment. But it's been a while since we've had some winds like this. The warning for Tuscaloosa County is going to go until 8:15. Notice we have a total of 72 strikes, and whenever you see the lightning strike count on this map, it is the lightning count for the lightning strikes that are in this viewing window. So in some cases, when we're tracking storms like this, most of the lightning sometimes can show up further south or be located in this area, and it doesn't necessarily reflect that we're seeing 74 strikes all across the board. So most of those lightning strikes have been happening along the southern extent of this line. And speaking of that, let's go to the big picture once again and just show you that that is the only warning that we have at this time. You can see down into Clark County, Alabama, a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings. We still have an active tornado watch in southern areas through 1 o'clock in the morning, but for these areas to the far south, those are severe thunderstorm warnings. And then around Tuscaloosa County, that is the severe thunderstorm warning, and really nothing that's telling me, hey, this is about to produce a major tornado or significant tornado. I always say all tornadoes are significant, but when I look at this, I'm not seeing a clear signal, Tania, that this is about to wrap up or try to produce one of those QLCS brief tornadoes like what we saw with the last system, but I've seen more straight line winds with something like that over Tuscaloosa. But listen, we're getting within that 1 hour window here very soon. This is going to start moving in towards Birmingham and parts of Jefferson County. So we're going to stay right here. We're not wall to wall on WBRC because we do have also tonight, we have special coverage of the presidential address coming up on WBRC. But what will happen if we do have a tornado warning, we will break in on Channel 6. So just to let you know, if we have to dive out of this streaming coverage and take a quick break to jump on Channel 6, we will let you know. We have teams on standby in the back, so we are ready to go. We're all over this tonight. We are keeping you well informed as we do on First Alert weather days as this crosses the state. So you are watching us right now on our streaming platforms, and just to let you know, we do have a streaming app, the WBRC streaming app, outside of the weather app. We tell you about the weather app all the time, but if you are on Fire TV, if you are on Roku and you watch platforms like Hulu, well, we have a WBRC streaming app just like that. You can download on those devices on your Fire TV, and you can watch us there and watch WBRC News there, but also we have a 24-hour weather channel that you can find on our streaming app as well. Now, if we do go into continuous tornado coverage on television, we also are carried live on Clear Channel radio stations across the state. Now, if you are in Calhoun County, we are carried on the 911 stations there. WJXI, just one of those. You can tune us in on FM radio in Calhoun County. But a lot of great sources, and listen, it's still one of the reasons why we break in on television is because that is real-time information. So we try to, you know, I always say with severe weather, it's like tracking a rogue missile when you're trying to track a tornado, and that's why we stay wall to wall when we're tracking severe weather. But we do have this platform and this ability to stay with you here wall to wall as we track this impactful system across the state tonight. So that's why I'm here, why Tania is here, and we are going to stay with you. And what Tania is doing right now is monitoring your communications with us. I know a lot of you are asking questions about the weather, sending in your reports, and Tania, I want to send it back over to you for an update on what we're seeing out there and what folks have to say.
Well, it looks like, Wes, everybody wants to know when's it going to come to their area. So I say let's walk through the next 2 hours once again, because we should be able to push a little bit further out until about 9:50, because we have this tool that allows us to see and time out this system over the next 2 hours. So because many of you just are so concerned about when this main line is going to be impacting your specific area, I think this is the best tool to use to get you all prepared and to let you know when you can expect it. So let's go to that future scan right now. I want to remind you that severe thunderstorm warning is in effect for Tuscaloosa County. It actually includes some of the far southern portions of Fayette County. I can tell you what cities are included in that too, but that main line is really pushing through. But if you're in Bowley Springs, you're actually included within that severe thunderstorm warning. So just want to let you know about that. But that's the only warning that we're seeing right now across central Alabama, our viewing area, and Tuscaloosa is not included in that tornado watch. So I repeat, not included in that tornado watch. Let's walk through the next 2 hours. I've been monitoring the chat. Everybody wants to know about their area. Is Birmingham safe? What about Peterson, Jasper? Waiting to see when it will hit Marvel and Bibb County. So let's go through this together so I can answer all those questions in one go. Let me tell you what areas are in the clear from that main line of storms. Let's break this down just a little bit. So if you're in Marion County, that main line of storms already through your area. You are clear to go. If you're in Lamar County, giving you the thumbs up, you're clear to go. Of course, still very windy, still going to see some rain, but that main line of damaging straight line winds and all that stuff already past your area. It's actually exiting Fayette as we speak. Let's keep pushing further down to talk about what areas are in the clear. If you're in the city of Fayette, that main line has moved through you. Pickens County, down to Sumter, you're in the clear. And if you're in Greene County, you are almost completely in the clear, unless you're in far east Greene County. But we're watching Tuscaloosa County. We're watching that Fayette and Walker County borderline. We're also watching all the way up to really the far western portions of Winston County. So this hasn't even reached Double Springs, actually pushing through the Haleyville area as we speak. So again, severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Tuscaloosa, but let's walk through. I'm gonna put this back into our main view here so you can kind of see. let's walk through the timing of this over the next several hours. We'll take it out to 8 o'clock for our first stop. Okay, so here's 8 p.m. And notice it hasn't moved a whole lot, but it will be pushing through the middle portions of Winston County, Double Springs area. Let's zoom in here. If you're near Rock Creek, 8 o'clock, hitting your area. Black Pond, hitting your area around 8 p.m. Let's move further down south. Walker County, if you're over towards Gamble, Lupton, Rose Hill, Hilliard, main line of storms moving through Coal Valley. Now, I want to also reiterate, we are not anticipating any tornadoes within that line of storms moving through the counties and the cities that I'm calling out, okay? More heavy rain, more strong winds. As we continue to push further down, Oakman area in, what is that, Walker County. Oakman area in Walker County, hitting your area around 8 o'clock and starting to hit the city of Parrish around 8 p.m. as well. Down towards Bethel, Browntown. Now we move further down into parts of Tuscaloosa County. Line at around 8 o'clock, moving through the Whitson area, the Wiley area, the Wyndham Springs area, and eventually going to be impacting Three Forks just after 8 o'clock, and then eventually crossing that Tuscaloosa Jefferson County borderline, but not quite yet. At the 8 o'clock hour, it will be moving through downtown Tuscaloosa, okay? So if you're in the Tuscaloosa downtown area over towards Arlington Drive, Highway 82, Northport, College Hills, that main line of storms, those strongest winds will be pushing through your area at that time. Taylorville, down towards Monora Estates, Englewood, Little Sandy, around 8 o'clock. Okay, so we went through Tuscaloosa County. If you're in any of those nearby cities or in that direct line of those cities, you can expect it around 8 p.m. Moundville, and then further down, hitting Greensboro around 8 o'clock, that's Hale County. And then if we move further down into parts of, it hasn't even hit Perry County at that point. So Hale County is where our viewing area ends as far as the Central Alabama DMA area. For the area we cover. So that's the 8 o'clock hour, all right? Now, moving it past, let's go to 8:30. At 8:30, if you're in Jasper, at that point, that main line of storms has already passed your area. So around 8:30, you'll likely be in the clear. Now, this is not the gospel. This is just tracking the next 2 hours, but there can be some discrepancies. You want to leave a window before and after this line moves through. But the Sipsey area will likely be seeing the main line of storms moving through. That's in Walker County. Moving down to Dora, Brookwood, if you're over towards the Woodstock area, West Blockton. The line of storms just hitting the Bibb County area around 8:30 p.m. So for those of you asking about Bibb County, telling you right now, I'm answering your questions. My house window's going crazy. Yes, honestly, it's so windy outside because the cameras in our studio have been rocking too, and they're literally rocking right now. So I know how windy it is. I'm sure it's super windy. We are moving down towards the Marion County area for that main line of storms just around 8:30. Let's go to 9 o'clock. 9 p.m. here, we're seeing that main line crossing I-65, pushing really quickly through the Jefferson County area. If we move and look further up north in Coleman County, we're seeing that main line passing Coleman right around 9 o'clock, and it's heading towards the Trussville area around 9 p.m., passing Hoover at 9 p.m., down towards Alabaster, Calera at 9 p.m., and this just updated. I don't know if you just saw that. So it's going to be really crossing that I-65 corridor around the 9 o'clock hour and through Bibb County at that time and entering Chilton County. And now we're going to make it to 9:30, which takes us just before 2 hours out. We'll go to 9:50 just to get the full 2 hours out. It's passing I-65 at 9:30, okay? And we're starting to enter Blount County, impacting Aniana. Center Point, well, I've already seen the storms, the strongest of those storms and the strongest of that line pushing through. And we're moving down towards Chelsea, parts of Shelby County, all the way down to Chilton, passing that I-65 area just near Jemison and eventually Maplesville. And if we start moving on further down to 9:50, that's pretty much it. This is not it for the line, but this is as far as our 2 hour limit goes for our future radar. You can see where that line is kind of starting to curve just a little bit. It might be a little bit slower moving through our far southern counties across the viewing area, but up and along I-20 and further north near I-59, it's going to be pushing through very quickly, okay? So if you're in the St. Clair County area, it's going to be passing through the heart of that county at around 9:50, just before 10 o'clock. And this should really all be out of here and into far east Alabama by about midnight. So it's a pretty quick moving system. It's already almost 8 o'clock, and this line is currently, let's go back to the current radar, is currently literally moving through the Tuscaloosa area. Just had lost power from a lightning strike. You guys saw that live on TV. Yeah, it's the wind.
Out there. Here on
I can
Red
hear
Mountain.
it.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it sounds like a jet engine out there right now.
Yeah, it's super windy. You guys just witnessed that on live television. So yeah, this is where the line is at right now. Again, only just checking in with any warnings that have been issued. The only warning that's issued in central Alabama includes far south Fayette County and most of Tuscaloosa County. Other than that, there are no other warnings issued. We're not seeing any threats right now for any tornadoes across the area, even for our far southern counties. So for those of you who are asking about Coosa County, I'm letting you know that you guys should be okay for this evening. Wind, heavy rain. All right, let's take a look at those current wind gusts across the area because I'm super curious. Okay, we just had around a 45 mile per hour wind gust, possibly near 50 here in on top of Red Mountain. So definitely super windy out there. Those strong winds are actually moving through the Blount County area right now too. This is ahead of that main line of storms. 56 mile per hour wind gusts there in Blount County, and slightly above that for specific areas. 34 there in Etowah, 43 mile per hour wind gusts in Tuscaloosa. It is so windy out there. And as far as the lightning, not a whole lot of lightning, but there are still some lightning strikes in our DMA, in our viewing area. So you might hear a few rumbles of thunder as this line of storms moves through. Still getting a few lightning strikes over the past hour, but if I zoom in to where this main line is at, we're seeing more minimal lightning strikes. I mean, if I zoom into Tuscaloosa County, around 9, and this is showing from Wiley down to the downtown Tuscaloosa Northport area, Highway 82, Arlington Drive area, only about 9 lightning strikes, but still not weather you want to be out in and about in, all right? We're seeing more widespread rain at this point. I mean, there's some dry areas in far east Alabama, some breaks in parts of our viewing area, like in Blount, catching some breaks of rain, but most of the area still is seeing a little bit of rain at this point. I want to take a look at some of our cameras here so we can show you what it looks like outside. Let's see if we can pull up and see if these cameras are still up after all the wind. Oh, you can't see anything on that camera. It's just rain. But 43 mile per hour wind gusts. This is out in Tuscaloosa near the River Market. We can go to the Mercedes Benz amphitheater camera. 43 mile per hour wind gusts out there.
Okay, Tania, let's go back over to radar here, and I stepped out to get some video. Wait until you see this. We're working to get this for you here to share. Right here on Red Mountain, we have some winds gust out there, 60 plus miles per hour at this time. I mean, the entire building is shaking, but when these winds translate closer to the surface, most of what we're seeing 40 plus mile per hour wind gusts. But this line, as it approaches Birmingham, these winds will just continue to intensify, these pressure gradient winds, and then we have the main line. Tania, we need to take a close look at a couple of areas here on radar.
All right, let's do it.
Yeah, let's go in right now. I want to take a look at northern Tuscaloosa County. This is right around Windham Springs. We do have an active severe thunderstorm warning in place. Let's go to velocity data. This is around the Whitson area, and looks like a very, that's a very strong signature of straight line winds right now, but running from Wiley to Whitson here on Highway 69, we are seeing some lightning, and there's a good chance in this area we do have some of those enhanced winds at the moment. Let's go to triple threat and check that out. And yes, so right there, go ahead and let's plot that. So that's around the Wiley area, seeing the possibility of 58 mile per hour winds at this time. So if you are between Windham Springs and Whitson, stay put. Now this likely has shifted even further east. Now it's probably approaching Three Forks. That's Yellow Creek right there. So this is in the Yellow Creek area in northern Tuscaloosa County. So make sure I would be in a site-built structure, and if you do have a tornado shelter, if you do have a safe room, concrete reinforced safe room, just go there until this passes, or go to the basement, because there are going to be some powerful winds, especially if you are listening to me right now around Wiley and back in towards the Yellow Creek area. So that's one of the more intense parts of this line. Let's back the view out. There's another area we need to watch down in Hale County, and this is it right here north of Demopolis. Let's go in really close to this, Tania, and listen up, control room. If you are on standby here to jump on to television if we do see this upgraded to a tornado warning, but we are. Let's go to the velocity data on this, Tania.
All right.
Yeah, we need to stay on top of this. Let's go to. Are we looking at? Is that Birmingham radar?
This is now Birmingham radar.
Okay, it's Birmingham radar. Let's go to. All right, go back to reflectivity. So right in this area, need to keep an eye on this. A little calm ahead, as we call it. We could have some rotation right in this area. Sometimes I have seen tornadoes where you have the opposite circulation. Sometimes that can happen because you end up with little eddies that sort of break apart along these lines. So sometimes you can have tornadoes that spin in a different direction, and that can happen here. Even though this is on the backside of this line, certainly could have some enhanced straight line winds with this. This is across the Warrior River. This is right around Lock 5. Indications that at least some powerful straight line winds with this about to move into Greensboro. So we go back to the triple threat, and this is on the edge of the radar site. And one of the things that we can do, Tania, we can actually take a look if we go to the lower right-hand part of the screen here. So where are we at? What did you zoom in?
I didn't mean to.
Okay.
My hand slipped.
Okay, yeah, let's see, let me go back to Hale County. So this is the area. Actually, that's Marengo County.
And that's on the Birmingham radar site.
Okay, so this is the area I'm watching right in here. This is around Case Moore. Now, this is the area that was hard hit. You remember Newbern last time. We had the tornado. So I know a lot of folks in here around Sunshine. If you are watching, we're going to keep an eye on this one right here. Let's make sure we got the latest data. Let's go back over to reflectivity. Let's take a look here. So there's Greensboro, Rosemary. Again, you are looking at, as far as the radar, yeah, we're looking at over, what's that, over 3,500 feet up. So we're far from the radar site, so we really don't have a good low-level view of this. Yeah, this is that area, unfortunately. You know, it's right there between.
In the middle.
Yeah, it's between Columbus and Birmingham. But we can go through all of our products here and try to get a good analysis on this. And the one thing is, you know, anytime on a line like this, especially one that's intensifying, you see a little bow like this right here, you got to watch that.
Yeah.
But thankfully, you know, it is behaving at this time. I'm not seeing it ramp up. You know, we looked at the velocity. I mean, this looked the other day when we had the tornadoes along that line, the EF1s, the EF0s. You could clearly see that even in this area. I know we say far from the radar site, but we could have a good eye on it. And I know the Weather Service as well, keeping a watch on this. But man, these winds moving across Tuscaloosa County. Look at that. That is straight line winds.
They're going to start clearing. They're going to start clearing counties from the tornado.
Well, that's nice. So
Greene and Sumter.
Look at that, 48 mile per hour wind, 41 mile per hour wind. So yeah, some strong winds about to move into Jefferson County here, but this is now this has crossed through Tuscaloosa. Kenny, do we have the storm tracker? Can we kind of get some ground truth on this? Just moved through Tuscaloosa. Okay, yeah, this will be out of Tuscaloosa here before long. It would be nice to get some ground truth here on exactly what's happening in Tuscaloosa at this time. But Jasper, this line's about to approach you. Now north, if you're watching from Double Springs and Winston County down through Jasper, we haven't forgotten about you, but you can see there is no warning at this time. Now we still could have some strong wind gusts in here as this makes its way across Walker County. Carbon Hill, threat is over for you. That has now passed. It's on to the east of you, now approaching Addison and Smith Lake. But Jefferson County next up, Coleman, Jasper to West Jefferson and Corner, all those areas. I'll keep an eye on this. You know, I really anticipate, Tania,
pull the markers up too.
You get into Blount County, yeah, we need to pull those in. There we go.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Put those first alert times up. Yeah,
so we got the shear marker showing up. That's a big indicator. Anytime, that is sort of a first alert for us. Anytime you see that shear marker that we could have some damaging winds, that is at Browntown showing 809. It's showing Cedar Lake around 814, Pleasant Field around 815. So again, that line now approaching Browntown. It's around the Whitson area. That's where we're seeing that indication right now of those damaging winds approaching the Browntown area, and that is crossing right around Whitson and Wyndham Springs. So if you are in southern Walker County, let me just take this off. The way this is moving, you can clearly see these arrows, but this is what I'm concerned about, that area right there. If we go to velocity, you can see it's actually even moved a little bit further. I mean, this is live radar data, so let's go in back to Browntown and Three Forks, and it's almost out of Tuscaloosa County, some of these stronger winds. But if you are in Cedar Lake, here's Cordova right here at the top of the screen. So you know, we're going to have the strong winds moving in around Jasper and Parrish and the Tutwiler area, but some of those enhanced wind speeds obviously are right in this zone here. You can see us kind of tracking in towards Tutwiler, Driftwood, Little Shoal. Let me clear this back off. That is around Franklin Ferry Road. Gorgas, the old Gorgas steam plant location, is going to pass close to there. Basically anywhere Jasper points south, we might see another warning pop up, Tania, because those are some strong winds. That's going to move right along the Walker-Jefferson County line. We need to watch this. We really need to keep a close eye on this part of the line as it moves to the east. So, again, that is around Cedar Lake and Tuscaloosa. The downtown area, the storms are pushing on through. Birmingham, we still have the wind, the rain, the lightning. East Alabama right now it's just mostly a lot of wind and rain. There's Center, there's Gadsden. Certainly haven't forgotten about you. You know, I often say if I haven't called out your area on a night like this, that's a good thing, because that means you have no threat as far as a tornado or severe thunderstorm. You know, when we're going through these storms, but we do try to sort of reset, show you the big picture here, and that line, it has really ramped up. That just shows you the power of a system like this, you know, to overcome that instability. There's so much wind energy with this. This line was able to form even in the midst of rain across the area, moving to the east.
I was just getting some people saying that lightning was ramping up in their area, but I am seeing a decent amount of lightning strikes in Chilton County. So for Sandra, who was just saying that lightning is bad in Clanton, you are right. It is on and popping out there, and some heavy rain in your area as well. So just keep that in mind. There have been some areas, like Wes was mentioning, that were cut off from that severe thunderstorm warning in parts of Tuscaloosa, but some very strong winds still moving through that area, the Tuscaloosa County area and that county line. About to enter, really, I mean, not necessarily yet into Jefferson County. I mean, parts of Jefferson County will start to see those strongest winds pushing through, but this is stretching from Walker and down through the central portions of Tuscaloosa County for much of where that line is covering. So yeah, but we're watching this very closely. We are monitoring this for you guys as much as possible and giving you the first alert update here. And we thank you so much for joining us. If you're watching on your mobile phone, on your laptops, we thank you guys so much for tuning in and staying weather aware and alert, because it is very important to, I mean, we all know how bad weather can get here in Alabama in a hurry. So it's so important to make sure you're staying up to date and that you're checking in for updates as much as possible. But this system has been moving through pretty quickly, believe it or not. It feels slow in the moment, but we'll look back and be like, wow, those hours went so fast. It's already 8 o'clock. This line is approaching I-65. Once it moves into East Alabama, we'll only have a few more hours to go, okay? That means we're about halfway there. So here we are looking at that main line of storms. We were tracking areas further south where we're seeing some stronger winds in place, and we're still seeing some pretty strong winds here. I mean, I can zoom in. Let's get a better look on Three Forks area. You guys are really being hit hard with some winds right now. Let me trim away some of all this clutter on the screen.
And do we have the video, Kenny? Do you have that ready to go? Okay, and
we're seeing winds 58 miles per hour.
It would be interesting. I'm sorry to cut in, Tania, but it would be interesting to hear Tuscaloosa. I know we have the storm tracker over there. We'll catch up on what's happening in the Tuscaloosa area. But those winds are just continue to increase here today on Red Mountain. I noticed at last check. Let me check the pressure level here. We were noticing the pressure was down to 1,003 millibars. Let me go back to. Yeah, that's not thunder.
Barely have a signal to watch. No, that's not thunder. That's wind.
Yeah.
Straight wind.
Let me go into right now, just check the latest.
Power out, Oak Grove.
Oh, wow. So the pressure, Tania, here in Birmingham, 998 millibars.
Wow.
So that's like a tropical system moving through tonight. It's been a while since we've had a wind event like this, just from the low pressure. We call these mid-latitude cyclones, these low pressure systems. Can you go to water vapor and pull that up and just break out the big picture? And let me just show you the culprit, the storm system behind all this. And you can see the cameras are shaking because the building is shaking here with all the gusty winds that we have. We may need to go to shelter here if this continues to intensify. So let's back this view on out and go to water vapor. Let me pull that up. I can show you here. We got I think we got a national and a meso version here we can pull up. There we go. So just to show you. So let's So let's just show you. See this big low that's spinning? Let's clear all this off the screen. Right in this area, you can see the big, powerful low right in here. Look at that. It's it's deepening. That's what's happening right now. It's intensifying. It's strengthening. So the pressure is lowering, and that is driving these strong winds. What a system. It's something about these March storms. I mean, the blizzard of '93, it was a system like this. Can you just imagine a system like this that was positioned south of us in the Gulf of Mexico? And that's sort of, you know, we're dealing with the same kind of system tonight with these tropical storm, even almost hurricane force wind gust across the area as this moves across the state of Alabama. Listen, we're going to stay with you right here on the stream because as Tania was noting, this is really packing a punch with these straight line winds. Now we do have the First Alert Storm Tracker. Let's go back to Taylor right now live in Tuscaloosa because we are continuing to watch these storms. We'll probably have to go back to live radar on that, Tania, because I did loop it back 12 hours. But Taylor, looks like that line as it moved through Tuscaloosa, we're keeping a close eye on parts of the county there. Our system was detecting winds over 50 miles per hour. So just tell us what it was like there as this line moved through.
Absolutely. Wes, you know that the wind has been a big talker. Obviously, during my previous live hits, you've seen just how powerful those winds are. We were actually out in the Holt community. We got reports of a house fire. That fire, I can tell you, it is controlled now, but the firefighters on the scene actually told me they were having to pull out because they were advised by the city that that squall line is moving in, reported winds of 65 miles per hour. So there are some hot spots. The fire is controlled, but they actually had to pull out because that could potentially create a hazard for those firefighters. So out of regard to them and their safety, and again, that fire is controlled, but they did actually pull out of that area just to make sure that everybody stays safe. Here's a live look at conditions right now. That rain, you know, last time I checked in with you guys, I said it had stopped raining. No sooner did those words leave my mouth, it just began to pour right now. Pretty torrential rainfall that we are seeing right here. Just again coming out of the Holt community here in Tuscaloosa County. We're still seeing a good bit of lightning in the area, but the rain coming down really, really heavy. Those roads are really, really slick. And again, the wind has certainly not let up at all. Oh my goodness, looks like we might have hit a patch of water on the road, and that's another issue, is ponding on the roads, because we're seeing this rain come in so heavily, so fast. It's just a really good reminder. You know, we are, of course, driving the speed limit. We're taking it extra slow, but hey, if you can go slower, because again, you just never know, and especially it's so dark out here. Just a really good reminder, if you do have to be out and about tonight, I can't stress it enough. I think I talk about it every time we're out here in the Storm Tracker. Just make sure that you are being extra careful on the roadways, because you just never know, especially when you're driving at night. You can't see as well. You don't have that light. You know, it's just a really good reminder. Make sure that you are driving slow. We are going to continue bringing you updates out here in Tuscaloosa County. We did get a little bit of video of that house fire. We are working to bring that to you now. But again, the good news is everyone that lived in that home was able to evacuate. There are no injuries, but we will continue bringing you updates out here in Tuscaloosa County as we learn new information. Your breaking news reporter in Tuscaloosa, Taylor Pollock, WBRC 6 News on your side.
Okay, Taylor, and you guys stay safe out there. These winds certainly keep both hands. If you are traveling, anybody out there tonight, both hands on that steering wheel. These winds are gusty, and we have wind advisories in effect. The severe thunderstorm warning has been expanded now to include southern Walker, Jefferson County, and into northern Bibb County. So let's go in really close. In that one area, Tania, that we were watching, that is an area that is showing signs of some damaging winds. Let's get in here really close. This is south of Jasper, that area right there. Okay, here we go. So we're zooming in, and let's put some first alert times on the screen. Still seeing the main threat here as damaging straight line winds, but on a scale of 0 to 10, BTI of 4.5, that is a potent storm. Anything over a 2, usually we have some very strong, powerful wind gusts, and this is moving. Look at the wind moving northeast at over 50 miles per hour. And looking at Gorgas now, 817, it's 814. So this is closing in on 269 corridor right there around Pumpkin Center and places like that. As we go to Reed's Ferry, you can see around 8:20 p.m. This actual severe thunderstorm warning is in effect. What's the end time on that, Tania, on the actual Jefferson County severe thunderstorm?
9:15.
9:15. So Walker County, Jefferson County, severe thunderstorm warning. Your weather apps are probably going off right now, or you're seeing the notifications. You're probably watching us right now on the First Alert weather app, but just to let you know.
Including parts of Shelby. Did we say Shelby? I'm sorry.
Shelby County? Okay.
Yep.
So northern
Far
Bibb,
western.
Shelby County. It's a big polygon. It does
is.
include that northern corner, but listen, anywhere in Shelby County, this line's approaching, and it's going to make some noise as it moves through. There's going to be some gusty winds, but this northern part of the line, and let's go back to velocity, Tania. Let's watch this see how this is trying to twist in this area. Let's keep a close eye on this in case we need to jump on for a tornado warning here, but again, just to let you know, if you're watching us on the stream, we are in special news coverage right now because the presidential address is happening tonight, but if needed, if there is a tornado warning, we will break in on Channel 6 just to let you know and monitor this and track this tornado warning in real time. But as we zoom in close now, we're over Cedar Lake, Gorgas, and what we're seeing are straight line winds mostly. These wind speeds in here gusting over 58 miles per hour. Not a night where we're going to see a lot of hail, and another thing too, we're not seeing a lot of lightning, but there have been some lightning strikes with this. It's mostly wind and rain with this as it tracks to the east. But this line sort of intensified right as this moved into Alabama. We saw this final line start to intensify. But as Tania zoomed in, you can see there's Highway 269. There's Good Springs. If you're watching around Gorgas, there's the Warrior River. So there's where the Gorgas steam plant was located. High level, Good Springs, and then Jasper is going to be to your north here. So we're still going to have some strong winds around Jasper as that heavy rain moves on through. But just zooming in so you can see some of these roadways in here. And actually what we can do is back the view out, and we can take off all the radar data, go to our triple thread, and we'll show where some of those strongest winds are located. And actually right now, Tania, the data showing even that northern end of that line starting to lift a little bit closer to Jasper. Let's go to this, just type Jasper, and let's bring in our camera that we have in the downtown area, and then also we'll go to Sanders Aviation if we can. But this is showing some of those stronger winds now becoming more enhanced out here around Smith Lake as well. So Arley, back in towards Wilson Bend, the Ardell area. So if you're around Arley, if you are watching me around Curry and around Duncan Bridge, it seems like that line is just right there over the Duncan Bridge area crossing over Smith Lake. Next up, we're going to have Crane Hill, the places like Brushy Pond and Bremen. If you are in those areas, that line is approaching within the hour. So Tania is pulling up some of those camera views. Let's go right now. Here is Sanders Aviation. Have we lost the feed there, Tania? I think we may have lost it.
We might have.
Yeah, I mean, these cameras.
Well, no, it says 8:16.
Okay.
So
okay.
it should be okay. It's as of the last minute.
Okay, well, yeah, it looks like it may have froze. Yeah, it just froze. We're probably seeing those strong winds right now, Tania, actually moving through that area, but it's pouring. Hey, listen, we have some rain. That's a good thing, right? We have some wet weather right now in Jasper. Bring it on. We need it with all those fires that we had out there earlier today, but Jasper, you're about to see that it's just starting now. These winds are going to pick up as that line moves on through, but some counties are being trimmed away from the tornado watch. That's a good thing. Mostly it's wind, it's rain that we're dealing with, and we just continue to was that another lightning strike?
I think so.
Or just a powerful wind?
It's probably a little bit of both,
yeah,
to be honest. A lot of people are just saying they're panicking, and it's just because it's loud outside.
Yeah,
you know? Don't let the storm anxiety get you. I know that it's scary, but you know.
Yeah, listen, it's a lot of wind out there tonight. It's quite blustery. It's quite gusty. Folks around parts of the upper Midwest and into the Plain States, you know, we see a lot of these kind of powerful cyclones with these winds like this, and around here, you know, most often it's winds 20, 30 miles per hour. You don't often really see winds that gust 50+ miles per hour in such a widespread swath across Alabama. I know a lot of times, you see a tree that's toppled. We often equate that with a tornado or winds that were 60, 70 miles per hour. But with something like this, I know it's making a lot of noise. And typically when you see winds over 40, you know it. You know it when those tropical storm force winds out there. And that's why I know it is a very stormy night, a very active night. Just know that we have no active tornado warnings. We're not seeing like a EF4 type, EF5 type tornado. Not seeing that tonight. But this is going to be a mostly straight line winds, and in the rare occasion along that line could we see some damaging straight line winds. So even though it's making a lot of noise out there tonight, just know that it's not totally all damaging winds in every single location. Those reports are more scattered around the state, but it is going to be very windy, and these winds will back off. Just stay with us. Once this line moves through, I promise you those wind speeds will improve. But we're going to stay right here with you. I know it's an impactful night. That's why we're here streaming wall-to-wall on our WBRC First Alert weather app, our news app, and our streaming app that you download on Roku and Fire TV. And we're going to stay with you as long as we continue to see these impacts here across central Alabama. But Tania doing a great job here with us as well. And we're going to stay with you. Tania's on the radar controls right now. And we were zoomed in on Jasper. Let's get you back over to radar and show you this line. And right now through Tuscaloosa, we have a nice little, well, it's a squall line. We don't have a lot of lightning right now in the northern part of this. It's mostly a wall of wind and rain, but you can see the Weather Service there now starting to blanket more of this with severe thunderstorm warnings. I noticed, Tania, that we just had a severe thunderstorm warning that was issued for areas further south. Now, the stronger winds are now through Jasper, pushing into Sipsey, Dora. That's where the gust front's currently located. It's about to move into Dora, West Jefferson, Sayre. Here's I-22, Highway 78. If you're watching me around Sayre, Graysville area, Adamsville as well, and then further south into places like Docena, this line will be approaching you, it looks like, over the next 15 minutes. And we take this further south, Bibb County, it's quite windy. And actually, with respect to the gradient winds, some of those strongest winds are happening just out ahead of this line. We need to watch right in here, Tania, for the possibility of some rotation. This would be right around Vance, right around places like the Mercedes plant at this time. Now is not a time. Now is not the time to be on the interstate. Interstate 20, as you can see, those stronger winds are now tracking to the east. So Coaling, there's another area. You can see that leading edge of that severe storm now approaching Coaling. Duncanville, severe thunderstorm warning. The southern part of Tuscaloosa County still in. Also that severe thunderstorm warning. Polygon, that is now approaching Centerville. So if you're in Centerville, Brent, Eolan, you're minutes away from the back edge of these storms moving through. That's a good thing. We'll be able to let that warning expire, but hopefully we get through this with minimal wind damage as this moves now to the east. It's now pushing into Bibb County. Tania, what was the time on that warning? It
45.
Just popped up. Okay, 45 minutes, 9:45. So looking back to the east into parts of Shelby County and into parts of Chilton County, are we included also in this particular warning, Polygon?
Yeah, let me zoom out. I'll show you exactly what areas are included. So it's
okay,
now
it looks
including
like parts of Chilton County.
Jefferson all the way down to Perry County and including parts of Chilton County and the far eastern portions of Greene. So it's a big polygon, of course, because it's really trying to cover that line and where it's headed. So if you're in Walker County, southeastern portions of Walker County, Jefferson County, stretching down towards Bibb County, all the way into Perry County, that's where that main line of storms is at. So that's what we're watching and we're tracking very closely. Still seeing our main impact being those winds, because when we taper down and clear off a lot of this stuff on our screen, you can see that the winds are just some of the main impacts across the area. I mean, if we look over towards the Smith Lake area, I mean, this may not be winds at the surface, but we're still seeing the possibility of winds gusting up to 70 miles per hour. So some very strong wind conditions, even up towards the Smith Lake area in parts of Walker County. So giving you all that first alert. If we go down further south to where that main line is at, you can see that it's stretching still into parts of Tuscaloosa, into Greene, the far western portions of Marion County, I'm going to clear off this polygon here so it's not so distracting, but we're still getting some indications of lightning too. So you're going to get the mix of the wind, the heavy rain, and the lightning as this line approaches your area. But even just ahead of it, we're seeing lightning strikes in Chilton County. I know a lot of people were messaging and putting in the chat that their storm anxiety is at an all-time high right now. But listen, this is why we're here, because we're letting you know what's happening. And the only areas that are in that tornado watch are still very far south, so our main impacts for central Alabama will be the winds and the heavy rain, okay? So let that hopefully ease some of your storm anxiety, but we're watching it very closely for any possible chance of rotation because, you know, weather is still weather and it's still going to do its weather thing. So we are watching it very closely for you guys and monitoring just how, you know, close and far away those winds are from and away from that radar site. But as we zoom in here, it just looks like some really strong straight line winds, and that's now approaching the West Jefferson area, eventually heading towards Sylvan Springs. So if you're in Jefferson County, I would get off those roads. If you know any family members, make sure they're in a safe place, just because the winds are going to be so strong. And, you know, you don't want to be in a place where a downed tree can be impacting you and your life and putting you in danger. So make sure you're somewhere safe in a structured building, out of those RVs and out of those vehicles if you can, and get into a safe place. So this is what we're tracking, and I can go to our current wind gusts across the area, and this will show you just how strong winds are across central Alabama. We're seeing winds still gusting up above 50 miles per hour in parts of Bibb and even down into Perry County. That main line of storms starting to enter the far western portions of Jefferson, but we're seeing winds in Jefferson County above 45 miles per hour. So it's very, very windy outside, and that is going to continue to cause those power outages across the area. Somebody said lost power in Fairfield. So they lost power in Fairfield, and I believe that's in Jefferson County. So if you're in the Fairfield area, hopefully you have those devices charged and you are using those flashlights, lighting some candles. Someone asked, is Curry in the clear? Lost power in Hueytown. People want to know about their specific areas. Someone said they still have power in Helena. That's good. If you still have power, you know, use it while you can, you know. Make sure that you get everything you need to get done. Take those baths, get ready for bed, all that good stuff before you lose power, just in case. But we can actually look to see what those power outages look like across the area. We have one of these cool tools here in our First Alert Weather Center that actually shows us the amount of homes without power, and it looks like Jefferson County is one of the higher spots. So look at this, 18,000 homes without power in Jefferson County. Tuscaloosa, 3,000. Over in Pickens County, 900. So I'll just put some plots here on the screen so you can kind of get a better look of your area and just kind of see how these power outages are really starting to expand across the state. And I honestly think the winds are to blame for this. Down power lines due to the winds, down trees affecting those power lines due to the winds, 2,000 homes without power there in Marion County. So this is one of the big issues right now that we're following very closely. I'm going to go back to the radar because I want to watch this as this line moves through. You can see how defined this line is. It's like almost straight perfect. And you know, when you see things like this, we look for any kind of bowing shapes or any effect like that to kind of give us indications of rotation. Not seeing anything that's really standing out to me at the moment. I'm monitoring the National Weather Service chat as well. Power lines down, Fultondale restaurant being evacuated. So yeah, that's going to be one of the main things. Canceled tornado watch. So let's see what areas have actually been canceled from the tornado watch. Let me clear off some of this radar right here. Okay, so we do have some Sumter, Greene County canceled from the tornado watch, still in effect for Hale, Perry, Chilton, and those are the only 3 counties across central Alabama that are under that tornado watch. But that severe thunderstorm warning, you can clearly see it right here, what counties are in this yellow polygon. I know it's flashing, it might be a little distracting, but from Walker, Jefferson, East Tuscaloosa, Bibb, down to Perry, far west, or east portions, of Hale County and the west portions of Chilton County are included in, that severe thunderstorm warning until, oh, there goes another one, it just popped up. These are in effect until 9:15 and 9:45, but then there's one that was just included up here towards Coleman County, 9:30 p.m. So first alert for a new severe thunderstorm warning that's in effect for now all of Coleman County and areas slightly north. So just letting you guys know what areas are included in that. That line is approaching the Coleman County line right now, that Winston-Coleman County line. That's the main line of storms. All right, let's go through this future cast here. You can kind of see when this is going to be crossing that I-65 corridor. Around 9:20 p.m., we'll see this line passing I-65, entering into East Alabama. And some of those severe thunderstorm warnings around 9:20 will have expired by then as well, so that'll be good. And then our far western counties by 10 o'clock, I mean, you guys are going to be in the clear as that main line really just begins to impact our far eastern counties. We're talking about St. Clair around 10 o'clock, Etowah County exiting Blount County down towards Talladega, impacting our far eastern portions of Chilton, western portions of Coosa County. So you guys still have some time there before that main line, I'm talking about that main line of rain and storms, because there's already rain and thunderstorms in your area at the moment, getting some lightning strikes. I can actually put those back on the screen. What areas are seeing the most lightning? Well, it looks like that could be down towards the Chilton, Coosa County area. So it's probably pretty loud out there for you guys with the lightning. Let's go to our chat and see if there's anything else. Everyone says Northport watching. We all need to have a coffee day for Wes and Tania. Oh, thank you. We're just trying to keep you guys safe. This is our job, literally. We're here to serve. We're here to serve you, and it's our honor to stand before you and to just make sure everyone has the information they need during these first alert weather days, right?
Yeah, and do we have the video in the back of the...
You took a video?
Oh, okay. All right, yeah, we're going to get some video I took about 15 minutes ago, and that was trying to get that in for you. It was from here, just to let folks know at home what it's like here on Red Mountain. I wish we actually had a camera, which, you know, we could look out the back and let you hear exactly what this is like. But this just shows you, since we're at a higher elevation, you just kind of get an idea of the, you know, when you go into the higher elevations, what the winds are like right now. So places, you know, you think in East Alabama, you get around Chandler Mountain, Appalachian Mountain, some of the, I mean, we say Red Mountain, but this is a hill compared to other parts of Alabama. Mount Cheaha, you know, those areas, we could easily see some hurricane force wind gusts in some of those areas. So if you are in Blount County, that's why we're seeing more of these severe thunderstorm warnings, some more of these elevated areas. Coleman County is included as well, and this is Blount's until 9:30.
I believe Coleman's till 9:30 too. Yeah.
So, and I posted a few moments ago. I had some folks that were confused when I talked about the air pressure and said, "You're scaring me. What does this mean?" But basically, one thing I posted a minute ago was the air pressure reading out at the atmospheric air pressure reading at the Birmingham airport. It had dropped to 998 millibars, and that equates to almost like a powerful low pressure system we track in the tropics sometimes. And basically, when you see lower atmospheric pressure, that equates to gusty winds, higher wind speeds. So lower the pressure, higher the wind speeds, that tighter gradient. So if you see that post, don't be alarmed. It's just one of those rare observations that we see around here with respect to the weather, and just to know that this is a powerful system, and we don't see pressure levels that low every day. And one thing you can say with those kind of pressure levels, Tania, you ever hear, you know, with the aches and pains forecast, you know, get a little achy, I can tell rain's coming.
Yeah.
There's a lot of correlation there, you know, with those lower atmospheric pressures. But we've been tracking this thing moving through the state. It looks like we're almost to the point where half of the area severe weather threat is over.
Yeah, absolutely. Our far western counties, I mean, you're just seeing rain at this point. If you're in Marion, Lamar, Pickens, down to Sumter, Greene, they've already been excluded from the tornado watch, Sumter and Greene County. So that's good for you all. But we're now starting to watch this line as it approaches our eastern counties and continues to head towards I-65. But yeah, I mean, it seems in the moment like it's moving slow, but it's honestly moving pretty quick.
Yeah, it is. It really is. It's racing to the east. We do have, and you see, mostly severe thunderstorm warnings. There are no tornado warnings with us right now, and you know, knock on the weather desk. Okay, we don't want that, but you can see there's some Boeing segments that we'll need to keep an eye on. But this is exactly similar to that last system that moved through. We're seeing a squall line. And this will hold together, this part of the line. This will make it all the way through the eastern part of the state. So we need to watch still. And even to the north, I mean, some of these areas, even though the tornado watch is to the south, I still think to the north, anywhere along this line, there's a little slither of instability and especially a lot of wind energy that's right through this zone, and it kind of gets channeled north along the line. Sometimes you get these brief little areas that rotate, and as we said, you know, a lot of times they're EF0, EF1. kind of tornadoes with something like this. But, you know, I had folks sending me messages last week and said, what's this? You know, there were posts out there talking about an outbreak of severe weather, and I'm like, what? You know, we just don't see it. You know, we do our own severe weather analysis here. I mean, we look at the data just as when we forecast rain, as we forecast snow, any kind of weather for you, we do our own forecasting for severe weather. Now, any severe weather outlook, a lot of the Storm Prediction Center outlooks that you see, those are made not in Alabama. Those are made in Norman, Oklahoma in an office. And what we do here is, it's like last week, you know, we make our own severe weather outlooks sometimes that we share with you. So just know that, you know, we put together our forecast. So when you see that, it's not that we're trying to downplay anything. We're just actually, you know, we try to be accurate.
Yeah.
And listen, we've been through April 27th. We've been through some big time storms around here, and we know that, you know, days happen when you do have an outbreak. We know what an outbreak's like in Alabama. And that's the thing. When we see a setup like this, these severe weather events, they come in different modes. You have, you know, those days where you do have multiple supercell storms or one bad long track storm, but you also have a lot of nights like this where you have these lines that move through. So just know that anytime there is a severe weather threat, and Tania and I were talking about what you can expect, you know, we try to just put it into context what type of mode of severe weather it is. Not to say we don't need to take this serious. As we know, it's been an incredibly windy night out there, and there's going to be more power outages. There's going to be some more trees down, but that's just the type of event this is.
That's it. You know, the winds are powerful. They're kicking. You got a little bit of lightning, and when you mix it all together, I mean, down trees, down power lines, power outages is going to be our main threat. And then we've been warning everyone, I mean, days before, saying, hey, this is going to be a big wind event.
Yeah.
Strong storms, yes. Big wind event. And this is exactly what it's panned out to be.
And we just had some good data. You know, we have some good data.
Yeah, we do.
And we follow, you know, the
we watched it
data
closely over the last several days, and we paid attention. And, you know, I'm glad it's performing the way
exactly. Yeah, you are exactly right. I'm glad it's performing as expected, because sometimes these events the day of, they will
ramp up. Yeah, they could ramp up right before. So yeah, it's just something that we're always actively monitoring. And, you know, that's what we're here for every single day. We come in and we put that forecast together, but this is just showing you the next 2 hours, and it'll likely be crossing I-65. I mean, in the next 45 minutes or so. We're talking about 40, 50 minutes from now. So it'll be in East Alabama before you know it.
But it's not going to be an outbreak. It's not going to be an outbreak of tornadoes tonight. And I know it sounds...
If it was, it would have been doing it.
Oh, yeah. So, so listen, just to put you at ease, I've had that question so many times this week and last week. And when I say that, it's not to say, I don't want you thinking, oh, so it's not going to be too bad. No, it's still an impactful system, but it's not that kind of setup as some posts have suggested. This is mainly going to be a straight line wind, and still an isolated tornado threat. I mean, could we see something that might try to spin up just before this moves out of the state tonight? It could happen. May only last 30 seconds, but that's the kind of night that we're dealing with the tornado side of things. It's not a major outbreak. Now, the wind is still a big factor. Let's go to the latest. Do we still have the wind gust chart, Tania, and bring that up? A couple of moments ago, I know we were still seeing some of those 50-mile-per-hour winds.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
It's kicking out there for sure.
Man, some big improvements. So parts of West Alabama.
Oh, yeah. Winds are beginning to lessen. Yeah. Thank goodness. Far West Alabama, 29, 30-mile-per-hour winds. A lot better than 50.
Yeah, look at Clanton right there. Wow.
I know. Yeah. Chilton County, 55-mile-per-hour wind gusts in your area. 49 there in Jefferson County, 50-mile-per-hour wind gusts in Clay County. And I'm yawning. Oh, boy.
Okay. All right, Tania. All right. Yeah. Well, listen. I've got the bigger coffee cup over here. I'll just go ahead and say I've got the big coffee cup in the Weather Center. But Tania's hanging in there with us, and we're certainly thankful Tania's here with us tonight, as well as we track this weather moving through. And we're thankful that you are staying weather alert. Tania, do we have right now? I know we were getting some questions and comments. Anything that I can address at the moment?
I'm not seeing any specific questions.
Okay.
People are telling us more about what they're noticing. Winds, power outages. People are asking about their specific city. Graysville, how's Graysville looking?
Let me go into the National Weather Service chat, and we'll bring that in just to make sure we're not missing anything. Any areas that we might let's see. Okay, so Sumter, Marengo, Hale County, and
trimmed
Greene.
away from the tornado watch.
Yeah, you may have mentioned that. So they're trimmed away. Just some trees down in some areas. There will be some trees down after tonight. It's been such an interesting couple of weeks. You know, was it last week? Yeah, we had the fire over in Calhoun County. We've had so much weather this spring, so many events that all these events are running together. But we had fire over in Calhoun County, and when I first saw it, I know there were some prescribed burns that were happening last week, and when I looked at that, I was thinking about all the rain that we had in February, and like, wow, we dried out that quickly, but we can dry out that quickly. I think that caught a lot of us off guard coming off of that stormy and rainy pattern in February, just how quickly we went from rain to fire danger. And listen, we have some rain moving through right now, some heavy rain, gusty winds. It's going to get windy again tomorrow. There's going to be some showers out there tomorrow, especially by the afternoon. Cold, kind of dreary, raw setup into tomorrow night, but it won't take long to dry out after this. So keep that in mind as we plan ahead here over the next couple of days. But right now, much needed rain moving into Graysville. We're zoomed in and we'll check in. We have a weather watcher there. If Debbie Alexander may be tuned in on our stream. Justin Gentry now reporting, he's reporting wind gusts up to 36 miles per hour at this time. And that's one thing, Tennille, with a lot of those wind gust report, some of that is going to be interpolated data that we see on some of those current conditions on some of those maps. So we got to watch out. But we do have some ground truth showing 36 mile per hour, 30 mile per hour wind in Verbena. So we do have Kyle King checking in right now, and Justin Gentry, our weather watchers, and that's why we have weather watchers, to make sure you are getting the most accurate information. So Kyle said pressure. Yeah, he's reporting also some extremely low pressure levels. Jennifer McAfee, Tania, in Walker County right now, reporting powers out in Cordova, 42.6 mile per hour wind gusts. Wow. So 44, Justin Gentry said at UA, University of Alabama, we had basically a 45 mile per hour wind gust at the University of Alabama.
Wow. Yeah.
Hey.
We're getting
So we're getting information
from our producers, and they're telling us that tons of reports of downed trees that's impacted and destroyed some properties or affected some properties. So be careful. I mean, even after tonight, tomorrow, when you get up, those roads could still be very messy. Okay. Here's a live look from our storm tracker in Tuscaloosa. And those storms have really actually pretty much pushed through that area.
It looks like the winds improved. That's at the Woods and Water location. That's off of Skyland Boulevard right there in Tuscaloosa, looking back to the north. And you can see it's still breezy, Tania, but as the 60, 70 mile per hour winds have backed off in that area. One location I'm watching here, Tania, let's go into northern Bibb County.
All right.
And we need to kind of, I'll tell you what, let's just start north and let's just work our way south along the line.
Okay.
Let's make sure.
Coleman County. Let's start in Coleman.
Yeah, we'll start in Coleman. I want to toggle between triple threat and the velocity data. So let's start there, and we'll start in Coleman County.
Take off these warnings.
There we go. So we know we have warnings all along the line. So Coleman, right at the moment, looking at the line, some of the strongest winds are within this northern ribbon of heavier precipitation right now. That's what just passed through near Jones Chapel. That's that same area. You know, it kind of worked its way north along the line, moved through Walker County, and that's now moving in towards South Vinemont and Good Hope. So if you're anywhere from Coleman to Good Hope and South Vinemont, next 15 to 20 minutes, be in a site-built structure. The threat for some damaging straight-line winds moving your way. Let's take this further south, and I would say 30, 40 minutes, this will be moving into places like Holly Pond and further to the east. So as we go further south, there's Dodge City. This is now crossing the interstate from Dodge City to Kimberly. So we get in here closer to Gardendale and those areas. Let's take a look at the wind velocities on the map right now with this. And around Damascus, yeah, right there, little area, probably have some enhanced winds around Sulphur Springs. So back to the east, you can see Hanceville's in line. There's Garden City. City, back towards Blunt Springs, or Smoke Rise, and then Trafford. So all these areas about to be impacted by those strong straight line winds. Let's take Gardendale. You can type that in there, Tania, and let's go to the Gardendale camera and check that view out at Adair Tire.
Give me 1 second.
Okay. Yeah, just type Adair, and that should pop that camera up so we can kind of get a view. So that line is about to cross right here. A live look from Adair Tire in Gardendale. Gusts at 49 miles per hour.
Wow.
Listen, I know we talked about some interpolated data and current conditions. This data is not far off. I mean, 49 mile per hour winds, I mean, that's ground truth coming in right there. So those winds are really potent tonight. Just keep in mind for a tropical storm, 39 miles per hour. That's tropical storm force wind gusts. So when you hear us talk about that, you're experiencing tropical storm force winds out there tonight. So hopefully you don't end up with any roof damage or trees down tonight. It's going to really pick up here as this line approaches. But right now, for folks need to be off the road and let this cross. It will happen quick. It's going to be right on over Interstate 65, Highway 31, and then those winds will start to back off. But this is a severe thunderstorm, so anywhere along this line, the risk is there for some damaging winds. Let's continue to track. Let's go further south. There's Fieldstown Road there, and we take it further south. There's Fultondale. So Fultondale, it's getting close. Tania, you know what you can do? There's an ETA button on there. Click that, and let's do an ETA from Dogtown to Fulton, that time of arrival.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so we can take that out. How
What
fast?
cities? I'm sorry, I missed the
Well,
city.
just take it. Just take the line and just move it out. This will give us some times of arrival to. Let's go to 65 here. Stop it right there. So we're showing 8:51. Let's take it from Brookside and bring that line over towards Newcastle and Fultondale. So what are we seeing there? Around 8:53. So 8:53 the arrival time. So just to show you, you're getting into that 15-minute window here for these storms now about to approach Gardendale and Fultondale. Birmingham. There we go. Let's take it from Edgewater and Mulga out here. Places like Dolomite. Yeah, there you go. So 8:54. So that's going to be putting this right around Titusville area, Fairfield, and over towards Thomas. You can see around 8:53. So Tania's putting some times of arrival. How about, I see Irondale out here. Let's go ahead and put Irondale. We'll put Center Point and Pinson, some of those areas as well. There's Mountain Brook, Crestwood area, out towards East Lake. We'll put those areas on there for folks watching. But this is getting close. I mean, it will be impacting all these areas. Don't you think so, Tania, within the next 30 minutes, the way this is moving? But there you go. Yeah, that looks good. Hoover around 8:56. But just another tool here that we have. Tania's putting some of those ETAs on the map for you. Let me move this desk so you can see.
There we go. I'm trying to get
there you go.
No.
Well, you're doing a good job. Yeah, so it's severe thunderstorm, straight line winds that we're concerned about with this, okay? Bessemer, this is now crossing around Bessemer and also McCalla. So this is now making its way over the 59 corridor. You can see the way this is oriented with respect to Interstate 59. Here, I'll step over here, Tania. There you go. Will that help out a little bit?
There we go.
Yeah, there you go. So you can see that line is just now the way the interstate's oriented. That wall of wind is now crossing the interstate. And as we mentioned earlier, with respect to certainly 18-wheelers, with the intermodal, the semis, with the big trailers, that folks need to pull over, need to be off the interstate with a wall of wind like this moving through. This is certainly dangerous for high-rise vehicles as they move along the interstate with gusts 45, 50 plus miles per hour. I know we've had that wind advisory in effect, but as we take a look at this, Tania has put some estimated times of arrival at the end of these arrows. So Vestavia, 8:58. Hoover, 8:57. Cahaba River Estates, around 8:59. This is Interstate 459 here. River Chase is in this area, so anywhere from 8:57 until 9 o'clock, it's going to impact right around Valleydale Road, right there between Chelsea and Indian Springs, Highway 119 area, Simsville, points north. And if you're wondering where the summit's located, let's see. Let's back the view out. So the summit's located right here, just to kind of give you an idea of what you're looking at. So there's where the summit's located. Actually, here's the summit right here. There's 280. Okay, so yeah, this is Interstate 65. So the summit is right in this area. So Rocky Ridge Road, the summit, back in towards Vestavia. Here's Hoover, Bluff Park. Actually, this is approaching Bluff Park. Ross Bridge, Shannon, back to the north. Here's Titusville area I was talking about, Fairfield, Thomas, Ensley, back into Lipscomb and Midfield as well. There's Mulga, Docena, and also looks like now Bessemer. The wall of wind, that gust front has just now crossed right over the Bessemer Superhighway. You can see right there. So that's the Birmingham area. Let's keep going, Tania. Let's go back to reflectivity. We have to go further south as we track now what's happening in Shelby County.
Ooh, got my map all twisted.
There we go. So there's Bibb County, now Centerville. So Centerville and West Blockton now crossing the Highway 5 corridor. If you are in Brookwood, Coling, Vance, Tuscaloosa, that threat has ended for you. Brian says okay, so the transformers are popping in parts of Ensley, according to Brian Falls. He's one of our storm spotters, and said that he's out there and seeing in the Ensley area several flashes on the horizon with those transformers popping. We're going to see more of that tonight, unfortunately, as this line continues to the east. But now around Centerville, and we are under a severe thunderstorm warning, right, in Bibb County, Tania?
Yes.
Okay. And do you have any, I know for folks that are tuned in on our YouTube channel, do you have any questions, any concerns, any comments?
I'm reading the
reports?
chat. They just want to know about their specific areas, you know, Hoax Bluff. So as long as we just keep mentioning specific areas and keep timing out this line, the system that's moving through, I think people's questions will be answered. If you're just now tuning in, if you're on Facebook, you can, well, just keep watching live, because I was about to say you can rewind back a little bit, but this storm, we've been tracking it since it started, so just keep watching. We'll probably answer your questions. If you're scared, no need to be scared. We're here to keep you safe. We're really just tracking gusty winds. Of course, the lights may flicker. It makes it scary out there. You might hear some rumbles of thunder, so just keep that in mind. But it looks like, are there any new severe thunderstorm warnings? Was this one new? This one might be new. That's including St. Clair County. Yeah, that's new. So that one's in effect till 9:45 p.m. Looks like a new, oh yeah, they just issued that one, 8:47. Okay, there you go. So yeah, 8:47, new severe thunderstorm warning was issued, and that stretches all the way into St. Clair County, but there'll likely be severe thunderstorm warnings attached to this line of storms as it moves through, just because of the winds. It's going to be very, very windy. And let's see how bad lightning is right now. Lightning isn't terrible, but there's still some strikes. So you're going to hear some lightning as that line moves through too. We're seeing some lightning strikes over towards the Warrior area, Kimberly, Hayden. That's parts of Jefferson County. Not seeing as much lightning further down south. So, you know, if you're in the Adamsville area, the Mulga area, Silver Springs area, it looks like more heavy rain than anything, rain and wind. The Virginia area, North Johns area, you guys are getting slammed with that heavy and those torrential rains at this moment. So please get off those roads. That's heading towards that I-20, I-459 area. So try to get off those roadways in the next few minutes if you can and get into a safe place. But the good news is we're not under tornado watch. We're not seeing a threat for tornadoes across the area. So that's good. And Wes and I are here to just keep you guys informed and keep you up to date on what's happening. So far, so good. Nothing has really, spun out of control or anything like that. So if you're just now tuning in and you're in far west Alabama, you are in the clear. Tuscaloosa, Marion, Lamar, Fayette. If I'm calling your county, you're in the clear. Pickens County, Tuscaloosa, mentioned that one, Sumter, Greene, Hale. The far western portions of Perry County, that line exiting your area as we speak. So looking pretty good here.
Yeah, and Tania, I want to show you this. This is a fire right now. This is in the Fort McClellan Weaver area, according to Ryan Wright, one of my followers there on Facebook. So this is what we're dealing with out ahead of that main line out there tonight. So another fire with these winds quite gusty out of the south. That's been causing some major issues out there tonight with these fires, and some of those have been ignited by downed power lines, lightning strikes, and it's just sort of a worst recipe here with respect to fires across the state of Alabama. But look at that tonight. Again, for folks there in Calhoun County and Kenny, if you're watching in the back, you want to check on this for Calhoun County. Certainly some significant impacts, but just look at that tonight, and again, hang in there, because we'll have some rain, more rain. The good news is it looks like it's raining right there around Jacksonville, but we are seeing some more rain that is moving in across East Alabama. And with the rain falling, I mean, that picture just came in. It's amazing. We're still seeing some images like that, but that wind is so powerful. It's just driving those flames and fires out there tonight. But the Weather Service now back to just blankets of severe thunderstorm warnings along this line stretching from Centerville, points north there. Now the main line's about to push into the Birmingham area. Now Center Point, basically anywhere along the line where it's a severe thunderstorm warning, the risk is there for damaging straight line winds topping 58 miles per hour. Now we can turn these warnings off, Tania, and go over to the triple threat just one more time, and let's turn on the storm cell identification markers.
All right.
Okay, so I don't see any shear markers, and this is Birmingham Weather Service?
Yes.
Okay. One little area there around Coleman to the north. If you're in the Coleman area, let us know what you're seeing. You can post there on our YouTube chat. Let us know. And listen, I know we're approaching 9 o'clock, but we still have the president speaking on the Big 6 right now, primary WBRC Channel 6. But if we do have a tornado warning that pops up, we're going to break in on television. But know that we're going to stay with you right here on this stream, tracking these storms across the area. But a great resource anytime we have severe weather in Alabama. We want you tuned in as well. Have multiple ways to get those alerts. This is another great way. The weather app, the television app, and again right here on YouTube as well. But it says triple threat, but what we mean by that, it doesn't mean that we're in for a triple threat right now. This is telling us where we're seeing some of the three key severe weather types of phenomena, impacts, hail, heavy rainfall, flooding risk, also the risk for damaging winds. And the number one thing we're seeing, it's not flooding, it's not hail, it is a risk for some strong winds. And we're seeing those shear indications, some winds in there could be topping 50 miles per hour right now across parts of Coleman County. So that's what we're looking at. Tania's bringing in some of the velocity data, which basically shows a solid line of rain. What are we seeing? Anything around Huntsville at the moment? I don't have the Huntsville Weather Service. That's the thing about Coleman County, is in the Huntsville National Weather Service area. So let's see, need to keep an eye on what they're saying on that particular storm. They're noticing, that's the thing, you have radar meteorologists and warning coordination meteorologists. What they're doing right now is they actively monitor what's happening on radars. We work with the National Weather Service. They watch these scans, and then the next scan comes in. They look for trends, patterns. Is this starting to ramp up? Is this starting to rotate? Is this starting to intensify? And it takes a while to kind of train the eye to notice those things with these radar signatures, and that's what they're doing right now. They keep a watch on this, closely monitoring the radar, and if they do see a need for a warning, we do have the capability for radar detected tornadoes these days, and we can issue those based on not just a tornado being spotted, which would be almost impossible on a night like this, but also radar indicated. And the cool thing is we do have dual pole radar now, so we can actually determine if there is debris within some of these storms as they move through the area. So again, at this point, we don't have a tornado warning here. It's just something we're watching, just making sure we're not missing anything. We want to stay tuned in to what our friends with the Weather Service as well, they're passing along a lot of information.
More warnings issued. It includes parts of St. Clair, maybe that already been there, 945, Blunt, 930. There's so many at this point, it's hard to keep track.
Yeah, that's the thing, Tania. I mean, basically, if you are
it's
out
going to follow the line.
Yeah, follow the line.
Those warnings are going to keep being issued out ahead of that line. So just want to let you guys know that if you see that warning pop up, don't let that scare you. You're just ahead of that line, so it's just warning you that, hey, those stronger winds are approaching your area. The heavier rain and the stronger winds are going to be heading towards your specific location. So just don't freak out. I know a lot of people keep saying in the chat that they're scared and stuff like that, but you're doing what you need to do. As long as you're indoors, structured building, a safe place, you know, you're good to go. You just want to make sure you're inside something with a structured roof that's strong enough to, you know, keep you grounded and safe in this moment. But that's a look at all those warnings in effect. I'm going to toggle them off because they're going to keep being issued across the area. Those warnings are stretching from Coleman all the way down to Perry County and including our far western portions of Chilton County and now including St. Clair and even Blount County. I know people were watching it online in our Facebook Live, and they were mentioning, hey, what areas are in the clear? If you're behind that line, if you're not getting alerts on your device and you're not seeing any severe thunderstorm warnings. You're likely either far ahead of the line or super far behind it. So here we are looking at far west Alabama, and notice Winston County, that line is already past you. You guys are good. Most of Walker County at this point, Tuscaloosa down to Greene, Hale. If you're in Sumter County, Pickens, Lamar, up to Marion, you guys are you're in the clear as of right now. This main line is stretching and is starting to continue to move further east and crossing I-65 as we speak. So we're just watching it very closely. Main impacts for the rest of the tonight, I'm still saying going to be those winds and the heavy rain. And of course, you're going to get a little bit of lightning out of this. So you may hear some rumbles of thunder, and that's probably what's keeping you scared in this moment. But we're not under tornado watch. We are just watching some stronger, this strong system bringing us those really, really strong winds across the area. So that's why you're probably seeing those down trees. It's not from a tornado. You're seeing those down trees and those power outages from those winds gusting up, because we have tight pressure. And when you have pressure that's really, really tight over a short distance, you get gustier winds. And that's how winds are created, with pressure, low pressure, or a tighter pressure gradient over a shorter distance. So just want to let you guys know about that. You are okay. You are good. We are speaking positivity over you and your home, and we're hoping that there's not a lot of damage out of this as we continue to track this across the area. I'm going to toggle off those warnings, those severe thunderstorm warnings, and I want to walk you through our future scan again. It's been a minute, so if you're just now tuning in and you're wide awake because, hey, it's loud out there, let's walk through where that line is heading. So here we are. Let's go to 9:30. That gets us about 30 minutes out from now. Around 9:32 is where I paused this at. And you can see for much of West Alabama, this main line is already past I-65. So if you're in West Alabama by 9:30, next 30 minutes, out of your area, okay? And then we're going to see that line stretching down towards parts of Chilton County. So if there's some warnings issued, your radios may be going off, your phones are going to go off, but these are just severe thunderstorm warnings. Still nothing to play with, very strong winds, still a powerful system, but we're not seeing a tornado threat. And I know this many of you have the storm anxiety because of tornadoes, right? So here we are at 9:30. That's where that main line is going to be at. Those stronger winds going to start impacting our eastern counties. But notice there's still going to be some heavy rainfall far ahead of it, and even some stormy conditions far ahead of that main line. So that may be keeping you up as well. But let's keep walking through the next 2 hours, this cool tool that we have. I'm going to take us now to 10 o'clock. Let's go about an hour out from now. All right, here we are at 10 p.m. watching that main line of storms moving through the Talladega County area over towards Sylacauga. I know I had some people in the chat asking about the Sylacauga area. It'll be impacting your area around then. Down in Coosa County, all the way up towards Etowah, just entering Etowah County at that point. St. Clair, the main line of storms really just passing through the central portions of that county, and that's around 10 p.m. So this is looking ahead. Next 2 hours, our future scan, just kind of timing this out. And as this feels like a slow moving event, it's moving actually pretty quickly. It's a very fast moving system, and that's why it's bringing these really quick winds and these faster and stronger winds across the area. But as this moves into far east Alabama, listen, it's going to be out of here before you know it. I say right around midnight, we'll probably not see much left of this. Just some more rain, but nothing in the way of what we saw earlier this evening with those strongest winds. They'll likely be pushing into the Georgia point around that midnight hour. Let's take it to 10:30. All right, now here we go, 10:33. Look at that. That's far before midnight, and we're still seeing that line just getting close there to our farthest eastern counties, stretching towards the Calhoun County area, partly still in parts of Etowah County, but starting to reach Cherokee County down towards Clay at 10:33 p.m. This is that future scan. So if you're just now tuning in, don't want you to get confused. This is not right now. This is what's to come in the next hour and a half. So we stretch down and we see that main line of storms and those stronger winds from these damaging straight line winds within the system. And we're going to see it moving through the far eastern portions of Coosa County and heading towards Tallapoosa County at that moment. And we'll take it to completely pan out those 2 hours out from now, right? Let's pan out 2 hours out. And this will be our last stop. Look at that, 11 o'clock, reaching Cleburne all the way down towards Tallapoosa County. It's going to be pushing into Randolph County, Chambers County, up towards Cherokee County, that main line beginning to exit, and really much of the area is going to start to see major improvements for the rest of the night tonight. So you'll be able to rest tonight. You'll be able to rest peacefully too. There may be some lingering showers, but hey, those winds, they'll start to die down as well as we continue throughout your Wednesday. So this is what we're following right now. Let's see if there's any other warnings that have been issued. Want to stay on top of that. Excuse me, it looks like we are, I think this was just issued Shelby County, Alabama. Yes, I believe that might be new. Let's go take a look at our chat. Yes, so Shelby County, you guys are under a severe thunderstorm warning until 10 p.m. So just letting you know, your phones, your radios might be going off, but that is, oh, someone said get her off the screen. Oh, Tiffany, why you gotta be so mean? I'm trying. So yeah, we are watching that main line of storms moving through our central Alabama counties right now. This is what we're tracking. Tiffany, I'm trying to keep you safe, so I'm calling you out, girl. Miranda, thank you so much for watching, but the wind has really just been what's been so bad here across the area. I mean, we're seeing winds gusting up above 40 miles per hour still, and that's ahead of that main line of storms. 40-mile-per-hour wind gusts there in Alabaster, 45 in Jefferson County, that's Birmingham, 40 in Coleman, 44-mile-per-hour wind gusts there in Chilton County, but we are not seeing a tornado outbreak of an evening. So you are good. Just make sure you're still staying weather aware and up to date throughout the rest of tonight. And it looks like, Wes, I mean, we're just still going to see these severe thunderstorm warnings. We're going to see them issued ahead of this line of storms.
Yeah, I was trying to follow up, Tania. There was a report. Actually, it was a social media post shared. It's unconfirmed, but might have been some damage at the Walmart there in Tuscaloosa. So we're trying to follow up, and Taylor and the Storm Tracker, we have a team right there. If we learn more, we will let you know. Okay, yeah, so I want to show you this. I want to go to this video I've been telling you about. But if we have the audio here. Okay, well, we'll come back to this when we have the audio because I wanted you to hear the sound from the video. It sounds here on Red Mountain, we're dealing with some extremely... Okay, so apparently I just found out the outage that we've been dealing with has been having some impacts with some of our equipment here on Red Mountain, but we will certainly share that with you. Actually, if you're on my Facebook page, you can find some of that information. You can find that video. I posted it there on my Facebook page. So here we go with a current radar view across the area, and I want to jump all over to our big picture and put this into motion just so you can see things kind of progressing along now. There's a look at 9 o'clock, and this is now moving through Birmingham and West Alabama. We can almost say we're in the clear for half of the area. This is pushing now into Chilton County. We've got the strongest winds now pushing through Bibb County, through Shelby County, and the Birmingham area, and Coleman. Hopefully very soon we'll be able to sound, I do think for the city of Coleman, we'll be able to sound the all clear, but this is pushing through Jefferson County and now into Blount County, and this will mostly be an East Alabama threat as this continues. Now actually that line is pushing in here to Birmingham. Tania, can we go to our tower camera? Do we have that available?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's bring that up.
All right.
And we'll check out the view, and also Crane Works. You can type Crane Works in. That will be a good camera to go to. So here we go back over. This is Tower Cam, a live look here from Red Mountain.
I'll get the Crane Works camera too.
The winds, obviously it's whiteout conditions here now with the gusts up to 45 miles per hour. The main line is pushing through the city of Birmingham. This is a severe thunderstorm at this time, pushing through Birmingham. Let's take the warnings off the screen. The heaviest of the rain pushing through the downtown area. You can see Railroad Park now, the heaviest of the rain back in towards Smithville, Thomas, Pratt City, Crumley Chapel. If you're watching me in Inslee, where we had some reports there of the possibility of some power flashes, some of the transformers in that area may have some outages if you were watching me on the streams. The heaviest of the rain now pushing across Oxmoor Road and the Oxmoor Valley, but the rain starting to lessen up now around Sylvan Springs. That was one area where we actually had one of those fires we were talking about earlier. There's Sylvan Springs, Adamsville. Starting to see the heaviest of the rain pass you. Same for us around Graysville. There's Colberg in Colberg Road area, Asipcoville, So that's right there, not far from Daniel Payne Drive, the heaviest of the rain starting to taper off. But let's go back to Fultondale. This is one area where, of course, you know, on a night like this, we had a low-end severe risk to Nia. Never will forget that storm that moved through this area. Thankfully, nothing like that tonight in Fultondale. It's just some gusty winds. Springdale, Danville, Eastbrook Manor, Newcastle, Point South, heavy rainfall, gusty winds, but it looks like just now, this is the back edge right there. That's where the intensity of this rain and the wind starts to lessen up. And that's the back edge there, starting to move in towards Gardendale at this time. So we'll back the view further out. Let's take this on down into now Hoover and Shelby County. I know a lot of you are watching me here at the moment. If you're in the Hoover area around Highland Crest, Cahaba River Estates, this you can obviously see there's more purples in this. That's just symbolizing heavier rainfall. That doesn't mean that's not correlating with the wind. But when we go over to the wind velocity, we can bring that in. That's going to show us. Well, actually, this is closer to the radar site. Let me go to the triple threat Barron button there. Let's see if we can pull in some of that velocity data. So there you go, 32, 39 mile per hour winds, 46 mile per hour winds, and that's closer to the surface too. So that's more realistic here with what we're seeing at the moment. Interestingly, here in Birmingham, now that the main line's gotten here, the winds are nowhere near as gusty as what we saw or what we were feeling earlier here on the mountain. We had those gusts over 15 miles per hour, but there's a look at Hoover right now, Oak Mountain State Park, Deerhurst area. Those gusty winds starting to move in at this time. Further south, we get into parts of Shelby County at this time. Pelham, you are about to be impacted by this main line. And listen, once this passes, this is it. The winds will gradually back off. You don't have to worry about, you know, these 40-plus mile per hour winds for the rest of tonight. I know it's been very impactful, but once this passes, those wind speeds will start to lessen. But this is a severe storm, so anywhere along this line, we still could have some of those rogue wind gusts. This is now moving into Shelby County, moving in towards, there's Maplesville, Jemison, you're next. Thorsby being a site-built structure, preparing for the possibility of some damaging winds as this continues tracking to the east direction here. We're looking at this from the Birmingham radar site. Let's go back over to Shelby County. I wanted to get in closer, and we can zoom in, take a look at some of these streets here. There's Highway or County Road 260, Colmont Road, Maylene Road. Just a lot of rain and wind, pretty much. Not a lot of lightning here. If we turn on the lightning tracker, you can see 0 lightning strikes with this. So it's a severe thunderstorm warning, but we don't have thunder. But that's just, you know, what we're dealing with here. These advisories are mainly to cover for the gusty winds. So that's what's going on in that particular area. Montevallo, we do see some lightning to the south. You can see, you know, along this line, there are some areas where we do have some lightning as this tracks to the east. So here we go, another update. So here's some first alert times just to show you. It's 9:10, but this is just giving you an idea of some areas in the path of this one severe storm. This is going to be moving towards Meadow Green, Country Hills Estates. Looks like BTI at 2.6 on the scale 0 to 10. I've seen this jump up to around a 4 or a 5, so that BTI is on the lower end of the scale. Heavy rain about to taper off around Birmingham, but this storm, hopefully it will behave here as it moves in. But if you are watching me around Heatherwood, the Altadena area, it's about to be approaching. It's now moving into Alabaster. Let's go north. There's Cahaba River Estates. Right now, if you're in Helena, Helena's an area being impacted right now. So Helena Road, Helena area, if you have any reports, you can leave us. Tania, pull in the YouTube chat and just let us know if you see any reports coming in from these areas. It will be interesting to hear some of the ground truth. I
know people said it was raining hard in the Roosevelt and the Brighton area.
Just a lot of rain.
A lot of heavy rain in the Roosevelt and the Brighton area, but there's plenty of areas that are dealing with the torrential rains right now. So I'm pulling up the YouTube chat too because I forgot that people are commenting on there. I'm sorry, guys, we neglected you.
Here we go, Crane Works right now. Look at the view, and there's a lot of folks. That's a Red Mountain Expressway. That's right by the big dog. If you look out towards Crane Works, you see the big dog statue that's out there off of the Red Mountain Expressway, 280. So there's a look at folks on the road, traffic in Birmingham, gust.
Someone asks, is there
41.
any tornadoes? No tornadoes right now. And we're not expecting any either. Just severe storms, severe thunderstorms. Gusty winds, very strong wind conditions across the area, and of course that heavy rain right now.
Yeah, just a lot of rain right now moving across the area, heavy rainfall, and folks.
More power outages.
People are on the road right now. Wouldn't advise until this line passes. It's some dangerous driving conditions out there tonight, especially with these gusty winds. If you could just pull over and just wait for this to pass. We're staying with you right now because this is a first alert weather day. We're on our streaming channel, so just because we are wall to wall doesn't mean we're tracking a tornado at the moment. We're on with you because of this line.
Shout out to Travis. He's a trucker, and he said he took exit 120 in Birmingham. The winds and heavy rain picking up, but I just want to shout him out for actually pulling off the road, you know, with these conditions, at least until that line moves through.
Yeah, good job, Travis. Lots of comments here.
2459 in the clear.
Heavy rain in Fultondale.
All clear for the city of Coleman. Let's see where that line is at.
Yeah.
Coleman's
all
clear?
Yeah,
all right,
Coleman's
well, we
clear.
good.
Yeah, let's go back to big picture here. We'll pull that up.
Let's zoom on out. Let's get the big picture.
I've got the composite pulled up here.
I gotcha.
So, Tania, you continue to go through those. I'm going to jump in over here on the National Weather Service chat.
Weather watchers want us to check in with them too. Let me go to our Facebook, see what our weather watchers got going on. But yeah, still more power outages and down trees across the area. Those are our main impacts from this system, but definitely seeing the heavy rain right now. So we're gonna pull up this power outage map.
The National Weather Service is reporting 80,000 customers without power right now. Actually, total customer, well, there you go. It's showing 71. Just saw a report up to 80 from the 9 o'clock update here.
Travis is still trucking. He's still driving. Okay, Travis. Be careful, please. Yeah, it's going to remain windy. Taffer on YouTube, yes, it will remain very windy for this evening. I'm still anticipating winds gusting up above 40 miles per hour in the occasion throughout the night tonight. So it will remain windy.
So the Blount County 911 is reporting some trees down from Bryan Falls and also some trees on Pine Mountain Road in Blount County. Tree is actually blocking Pine Mountain Road in Blount County at this time. We have the Blount County EMS is delayed to respond to some of the calls because of the weather currently impacting Blount County. Tania, moving through that area. Brody Wesson, one of our first alert weather watchers, seeing flight delays. So we're starting to see some delays at Birmingham Airport,
that's
obviously with the weather that's moving through, and some cancellations there at the Birmingham Airport tonight. Let's see, Kyle King reporting a 30-mile-per-hour wind. Again, some of these wind reports. Bryan Falls said had a peak gust of 55 miles per hour, Tania, at Inslee as this line moved through. Now, latest track on this, basically this line right here, if you are anywhere along this line, there are severe thunderstorm warnings. This is just basically a long severe thunderstorm, the way we're seeing these warnings issued. But the concern is there's some areas embedded in this line where we could see some winds gusting over 40 miles per hour and possibly even some severe storm related gusts, which is higher than 58 miles per hour. That possibility is there. Now, some of the strongest winds that we've seen here on Red Mountain was before this got here. Right now it's mostly a lot of rain that we're dealing with here on Red Mountain, and the winds have actually backed off some. This is the final push. Once this moves through, behind this we will have some improvements. Now tonight, for the rest of tonight, the overnight hours, I don't expect sub-freezing temperatures or anything like that. I know that's a concern with the power outages, but no, tomorrow, now we're going to have some colder air coming in. Tomorrow night, those low temperatures will tumble down to near freezing by Thursday morning. In fact, it's still possible we could have some snow across North Alabama. Yes, I said snow. I know that surprised a lot of folks today, but this is just one of those dynamic systems. It's the battle of the seasons, as I've been saying, and you're going to see more systems like this. This is why the severe weather often ramps up this time of the year, is because spring's trying to move in, winter doesn't want to let go, and we end up with systems like this, very impactful. But the good news, based on what we are seeing, I would be surprised if we saw a tornado warning, Tania.
Yeah.
Can't totally rule it out, but so far, I mean, this is doing exactly as we expected. It's mostly a lot of wind, a lot of rain that's moving through tonight, and I think this is what we're going to continue to see for a lot of areas here as this moves on to the east. But
I just want to answer Sam Smith. He said,
Go
please
ahead.
talk about Aniana. And as we're looking at that line in the current state, it
let's go
is
in.
heading towards Aniana right now, but we're not anticipating tornadoes, but you will see some more of those torrential rains moving through your area. So I just wanted to answer your question, Sam Smith. Hopefully that helps you out, but that's in Blount County. You are under that severe thunderstorm warning. So if you hear any alerts on those radios and on your mobile devices, that's what that is, but no tornado warnings, okay? So strong system moving through, wind, rain, that's what's heading towards the Aniana area right now, moving through Blount County. And you guys are actually under that severe thunderstorm warning until 9:30 p.m. So you got about 15 or less minutes before that expires for your area. All right.
seeing more power outages, Tania. Let's go to that. Let's go to the Barron power outage map. Let's look at a statewide map. That would be kind of interesting here.
I gotcha. Let's pull that up.
But Ross Bridge looks like some outages there. Some of the
Get all
ham
this cleared off.
licensed ham radio operators are sharing some reports along with the National Weather Service chat. So statewide, okay, so 77,000 customers statewide.
But then here is Jefferson County. Looks like right now has the most power outages, but Tuscaloosa not too far behind. Let me pixel query that. 5,500.
How about down there? Just zoom out just to show. Okay, yeah. So Jefferson County. That's the number one spot here. Well, listen, those winds that we had, like I said a few moments ago, before the line even got here on Red Mountain, we at least
they were
had
already
50 mile per hour gusts.
Mm-hmm.
Bryan Falls, again, our weather watcher in Inslee reported a 55 mile per hour wind gust, and Bryan checks in often. Let's check out the view here. Let's get back to radar. Let's go back to,
All right.
you see right here, we got these shear markers.
Yes, let's
Yeah,
look
we need
those.
to go in and let's look at this. Actually, you know what you can do? You turn those back on. Let's go to Huntsville. Let's go to High Top. Let's go between High Top and Birmingham. But there's a little area right here. Yeah, let's watch this. Yeah, still an intense part. You know, that's the thing, too,
Here's
with
some
this higher
times.
elevations you get in here. There's Altoona. Here's Aniana. Susan Moore. I was supposed to visit Susan Moore yesterday for a weather visit.
Oh,
We're
wow.
heading up there Thursday, but that's just north of Aniana. But this area in here right now is actually feeling the brunt of this line. This is right around Riverside, Hendricks. There's Hendricks, there's Clarence, there's Sneed. So here we go. Winds are ramping up as this lifts in towards Blount County. So we're going to keep an eye on this. A severe thunderstorm warning has been issued now. So Blount County, we're also included in that severe thunderstorm warning.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're anywhere from Aniana, all good areas, let's go to, and we also have our straight mountain camera at Appalachian School today.
Okay, I can pull that up.
Yeah, we can check that out as well. Again, we're looking at Crane Works here right now, a live look.
Hold on.
Again, it is on, you're looking at your clock, it's 9:20. If you've been staying with us for severe weather coverage, we're not on television right now, but we're on all of our streaming channels because of special coverage of the presidential address tonight. But what's going to happen here is we will switch into our news once that wraps up. We're going to continue this back on Channel 6 as we kick off the news. So,
Real quick, Wes, would
Yeah.
you recall what the straight mountain camera was called?
Appalachian School.
Oh, Appalachian School. That's right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, this is on Straight Mountain in Blount County. This is right there, not far from Highland Lake, and
It's windy.
oh man, yeah, look at that camera. Hopefully it holds on there tonight. But this camera, Tania, I mean, we had snow on it. Now we're watching these storms approach. But this has been quite the view here at Straight Mountain at Appalachian School, and you can see the camera just shaking because of those strong winds. But that line, it's about to reach this school here. It's approaching from the west direction right now. A line of storms. We'll continue to kind of toggle back and forth, Tania. Let's go back to the radar because there is a intense part of this storm that is over Blount County at this time. Let me actually zoom out here and go back to that for folks that are tuning in here from Blount County. I know right now you're noticing those winds really picking up. Let's take the warnings off. Really just there's a lot going on the screen here, so we need to clear some of this off. So the strongest winds that I see at the moment, actually, all along this line from Trussville. So let's take it one area at a time. We'll work our way north. So again, if you're in now, it looks like those winds are really elevated around Roper Road, Smith, Sims Road down to St. Clair County, approaching St. Clair County and through Trussville and moving out of Jefferson County, Candlewood Lakes, Cotton Ridge area, seeing indications there. There's Argo, Misty Pine, Springville up next. These winds are approaching, some of these stronger winds, 58 miles per hour. That's severe thunderstorm wind gusts. So thunderstorm wind gusts also around Springville Lake. So now we're getting further north here, getting into Blount County. There's Highland Lake, and there's one area there around Highland Lake. Look at that, 70 mile per hour winds, Tania, in this area. Looks like those stronger winds have passed All Good. There's State Highway 75. Aniana, looks like the strongest of the winds have now passed through town. So here, this is now approaching again right around Straight Mountain. There's Tate's Gap. You can see that on the screen. Hood's Crossroads, Murphy. At this time, let's go to the wind here. 70 mile per hour winds, again, possible with this line moving through Blount County. So strong winds. Let's see if there's damage reports that we have at this time. That severe thunderstorm warning set to expire at 9:30 p.m., but as this line moves further east, we might actually see that kind of redrawn, and the far eastern part still included in that severe thunderstorm warning. Look at all the lightning with this. Those are past lightning strikes, but it's been popping in this area with this line moving through. Let's go back to the big picture, and right now, and severe thunderstorm warnings now. Let's go to Clanton. We haven't talked about Clanton much. Need to watch this area to the south. You know, we're still in a tornado watch here down into this part of the area. That watch set to expire at 1 o'clock in the morning. Haven't forgotten about you down in Chilton County. Still looks like mostly straight line winds. Shelby County, looks like the gust front, the stronger winds have now pushed through, and hopefully here very soon, well, just now pushing through. You can see now some of those stronger winds. There's Oak Mountain State Park. Let's get in here close. There's Cahaba Valley Road and Valleydale Road. So it looks like the worst of this. There's Caldwell Mill Road. There's the corner of Caldwell Mill and Valleydale. So Jeff State College is right here. Veterans Park, you know where I'm talking about. There's Veterans Park. Here's Indian Valley. There's a Publix right in this area. Walmart neighborhood Walmart right in that area, just showing you. Oak Mountain Elementary School is going to be further south down Caldwell Mill. Oak Mountain Elementary School is right in this area. So just kind of showing you where this is across Shelby County. Let's take this further north. There's Acton Road. Some of the heaviest rain with this actually, Tania, is right around Grandview Medical Center. Across the Summit, there's a Summit. It's just absolutely pouring. Cahaba Heights, you're dealing with the worst of this. But notice that the back edge has now pushed through Homewood, and now Vestavia. It's still raining, but the strongest part of this has now crossed through Vestavia. If you're watching me around Bluff Park, West Hoover, the threat over towards Bluff Park and those areas has also ended. The Highway 150 area back in towards Ross Bridge, that threat has ended. If you are in Hueytown, if you're in Fairfield, Lipscomb, Brighton, Edgewater, Mulga, Alliance, it's just mostly rain. Threat has ended. Actually, Birmingham proper, that threat has ended. Columbiana, though, leading edge is now approaching. Still could have some of those rogue wind gusts that may top 58 miles per hour. Actually, some of the strongest winds, Shelby, point south, are going to happen just out ahead of this main line. But typically with something like this, often we do end up with some of those stronger winds that when you get into the higher terrain over in East Alabama especially, and get into Blount County, those are some areas where we often see these lines like this sort of ramp up. And let's just be mindful here that, well, actually, look at that, Tania. That is Birmingham. Let's check it out from High Top. So between High Top and Birmingham radar, we have a lot of data that is pointing to some possibly some damaging winds here in northern Blount County. I'm zoomed in right now over Gunter Circle. This is between Brooksville and Sneed. So if you are anywhere from Brooksville to the Sneed area, We're seeing winds there that could be in excess of 60 miles per hour, some damaging winds moving through that area at this time, Tania. Let's go back to that camera view. There we go. So that line is approaching. A live look from Appalachian School as that line is approaching now from the west direction. Winds that they're showing up at 27 miles per hour. Let's see what happens here over the next 5-10 minutes to see how this all kind of unfolds, because you are seeing what's moving through Blount County. This is the leading edge of that line. It is just now reaching the school there on Straight Mountain. But the rain really picking up right now, Tania. Hopefully, you know, this for a lot of us here, these areas where the radar is detecting, you know, winds gusting over 60 miles per hour. Hopefully that's very isolated cases that we see in some of those locations. So looks like another watch may be coming, Tania, for parts of the state down in South Alabama.
All right.
Blount County EMA reporting
They trim away any more of the watches.
Looks like a wreck on I-65 near mile marker 286, and that is due to a fallen tree. One vehicle, no injuries reported at this time. That is from the Blount County. So I-65 there through Blount County. A report at mile marker 286 due to a fallen tree. Tree down County Highway 27 and Pine Mountain Road in Springville. There's going to be some trees and some roadways. So what's happened now is now you can see the severe thunderstorm watch has been issued, because that's mostly what we are seeing now, a severe thunderstorm watch. But this is one of those nights where these severe storms are packing a punch. And I say storms, a lot of these haven't produced a lot of lightning. It's mostly a lot of wind, and then the gradient winds out ahead of this system. But there's some lightning. You can see it showing up in there. But for a lot of us, I know it's mostly been a lot of wind and rain. Tania, I'll let you jump in because I know you're following along with some of those comments.
Oh yeah, the comments are definitely ramping up. People are saying power out in Curry. Trussville is getting nailed right now, and I believe it. Let's zoom in here to Trussville. Yes, you guys are getting some of those torrential rains. This is that main line pushing through your area. The good news is you're under that severe thunderstorm warning until 9:45 p.m. So just shortly, just a little bit while longer, about 15 minutes or so, and that main line will have moved through your area. As far as lightning, notice, look on your screen, one lightning strike. So not a whole lot of noise being caused by this line right here that's moving through that Trussville area, but you are not wrong. Heavy rain, torrential rains moving through Trussville. That's near Highway 11. That includes also Moss Rock, the Alton area, all the way down to Rose Hill, including parts of Interstate 20. So definitely get off those roadways. If you know anyone, try to let them know that they need to get home into a safe place, please. Some more severe thunderstorm warnings are going to be issued ahead of this main line, but like we just mentioned, the National Weather Service has issued for our eastern counties, not a tornado watch, but a severe thunderstorm watch. And so that just goes to show you that we're not anticipating any kind of tornado outbreak for the rest of the night tonight. That severe thunderstorm watch is in effect for our eastern counties until 3 a.m. If you are west of I-65, you are in the clear, okay? Excluding probably down towards Chilton County, that line's still impacting you all. We'll go to the live radar right here for those of you who want to see this. I'll take some of this stuff off the screen so you get a better look, and you'll see exactly where that line is stretching from. I can draw on here as well, and you'll see down from really starting from Blount County in the far eastern portions of Blount County, and then all the way down towards the eastern portions of Jefferson, western portions of St. Clair. So starting to enter into St. Clair County as we speak. It's also impacting parts of Shelby County and all the way down to Chilton as well. But there is not a whole lot of lightning with this entire line, okay? There are still some strikes happening across the area. Like I can zoom in here, and I'm seeing about 5 lightning strikes in parts of Chilton County. So you still may hear some rumbles of thunder, but the big story right now is still just going to be those winds and the heavy rain. And if I take you over to our actual wind gusts at the current moment, oh, look at that Appalachian camera. You can see how crazy it's acting at the moment. I actually want to pull that one back up. Here we go. Take a look at this, guys.
Oh yeah, so there it is. That line has now reached Straight Mountain.
Yours doesn't have the the wind gusts on there. That's okay though, but they can see the view.
Western City, I don't know, my mic is up. Alabama Power reporting almost 80,000 folks.
Okay. Steve Crocker just coming in and telling us that Alabama Power reported over 80,000, almost 80,000 for power outages. And we've been mentioning with these strong winds, that's going to be one of our main impacts throughout the night tonight. And we actually have a tool in here that I can go in and pull up power outages across the state and for specific counties. So let's clear off some of these lightning strikes for you here, and we can pencil some of these. That's just Jefferson County alone, 38,000, 6,000 in Tuscaloosa. But as we clear this off and show the state what Steve was just talking about, and I pixel query this, we're talking about, I mean, this map is showing 95,000. So anywhere between 70 to just under 100,000 homes or people without power right now is crazy. And that's across the entire state, all from this big wind maker of a system. And so if I take you back to reflectivity, you can take a look here and see exactly where that line is at. Believe it or not, this has been a pretty fast moving system. In the moment, it seems slow, I know, but it's moving through pretty quickly. We are pretty much over that I-65 corridor, entering into East Alabama. This is going on and along I-59 and Interstate 20. So again, we recommend you not be on those roads, but if you have to, just be prepared for torrential rains and some gusty winds to impact your commute. And there are likely going to be some areas with damage on the roads early tomorrow morning. So there's still nothing to play around with. If you have to get up early to go to work tomorrow, give yourself some extra drive time. We will see improvements as far as the rain goes, but those downed trees, debris on the roads will likely still be there. But tons of severe thunderstorm warnings stretching down this line of storms now in effect for Coosa County until 10:45 p.m. You can see that there. It looks like that severe thunderstorm warning is in effect for parts of Chilton County until 10 o'clock. We're looking at Shelby County until 10 p.m.
Need to watch this area here, Tania.
All right, I'm looking at it.
Yeah, that's tracking in. Looks like Coosa County. So you were mentioning earlier our friends around Coosa County.
They were nervous. All right, so yeah, we're watching it very closely.
And also what I'm going to do, I'm going to flip over here real quickly because a lot of you, and listen, we don't want folks out in this weather. We want you safe. But you go ahead, Tania, and give us a track. But I do have some storm damage photos that we're starting to receive in. Just
oh yeah, you can show the storm damage photos. These are just some first alert times for this. I know some of these cities that you see on your screen may not be necessarily in our viewing area, but as it tracks towards, it looks like this system they're anticipating to move slightly northeast, and this could be impacting parts of Coosa County. So we do need to watch this very closely. As of right now, we're seeing not a really good chance for hail within this, so not a whole lot of energy and updraft with this system, which is good. So tornado threat still remains fairly low, but the stronger portion of the system is still further to the south, and Coosa County is south central Alabama. So we'll watch this very closely as it continues to track further to the east, because it's still further west of the Coosa County line. So that's the one good thing. Still have some time to pay very close attention to that. But the reason why Wes is mentioning we need to watch it is because you can see how there's some curvature within this. And again, this is south of central Alabama, but this is definitely an area we need to watch just because of the shape that this is causing. Shows us a little bit more of instability and updraft, but we're watching it closely. Again, right now, still just a severe thunderstorm. So all good to go as we speak. And as far as lightning with this, I want to kind of zoom in and see how much energy is within this system. Oh yeah, there's a pretty good amount of lightning strikes, showing about 30, 35 within that area. Again, that's further south. That's south of Chilton County, but it's anticipating to just clip the southeastern portions of Coosa County, but still some time before that happens. As we look at our future scan, next 2 hours, we can see that main line moving through the Coosa County area closer to about the 10:25 mark is when we need to watch it, and then around 10:40 as it moves into far east Coosa County. So we'll keep our eye on that within the next hour or so to make sure that that behaves, okay? To make sure that part of the line that's crossing central Alabama behaves and that we don't get any warnings out of that, tornado warnings specifically. But yeah, so still seeing severe thunderstorms across the area, this main line passing I-65 as we speak. We have tons of severe thunderstorm warnings in effect, so if your mobile devices are going off, if you hear those alarms, they're just severe thunderstorm warnings, and we're actually under a severe thunderstorm watch until, let's pull up that severe thunderstorm watch and get some information on that. The thunderstorm watch is in effect until 3 a.m. but that main line of storms is likely going to be out of here just past midnight. So if you have places to go tomorrow morning, all of this will be over by then. So that's one good thing to note. But for tonight, you just want to make sure you're weather aware and prepared. If you're in West Alabama, giving you the all clear, you are safe. It's just some rain pushing through parts of our western counties like Winston, Walker. But notice already seeing improvements back towards Lamar County, dry for your area, dry in Fayette, seeing improvements in parts of West Tuscaloosa County.
What's the
but
time?
That main line.
I'm sorry, Tania, what's the time on that watch?
3 a.m.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good. 3 a.m. for that severe thunderstorm watch for our eastern counties, and that includes the following counties here. I can actually tell you, let me take off these severe thunderstorm warnings so that they're not flashing in our face. Boom. There we go. And then let's take off these lightning strikes. So if you are in Cherokee, Etowah, St. Clair, Calhoun, Cleburne, Talladega, Clay, Randolph County, Coosa, Tallapoosa, and Chambers County, you are under that severe thunderstorm watch until 3 a.m. Again, though, that main line of storms is going to be out of here probably well before then, so we'll probably see that severe thunderstorm warning or severe thunderstorm watch canceled far before then, because as I pan us out to about 11:38, you can see that main line is going to be just exiting East Alabama, and that watch is in effect until 3. So here we are seeing some of that heavier rain around 11:38, moving out of Cherokee County at that point. But if I walk you through the time on this, this is where we're at right now. Let's go back to now. This is where we're at right now. So if you're just now tuning in, that main line of storms already passing I-65. Then we'll see that line continuing to push further to the east, bringing more heavy rain and wind. I would say closer to Etowah County, exiting St. Clair County into the central portions of Talladega County around 10:25 p.m. And then we'll push it out further to 11 o'clock, moving into Calhoun County, stretching down towards Clay. And then eventually closer to midnight, as we've been mentioning, around midnight, all of this is really going to be pretty much quiet across the area. Just seeing the last bit of that line into our far eastern counties, Cleburne, Randolph, Chambers County, Tallapoosa, still seeing some leftover of that. But I want to go back to our current radar. These are where storms are at. Again, if you're just now tuning in, we have a whole lot of people that are watching online, Facebook, YouTube. We thank you and appreciate you so much. Yes, this is live for those of you who are watching. Someone says zoom in on Leeds, please. I actually can. Let's go and see where Leeds is at. Okay, here's Pell City. All right, let's find Leeds. If you're in Leeds, Alabama, that line not quite at your area just yet, because here's Pell City. So Moody here. Oh, Moody Leeds. Oh yeah, there we go. West, Moody, Leeds. Help me find Leeds on here.
You're close.
I know I'm close.
Yeah,
I just don't see the city popping up.
There we go, right there.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah,
So yeah, the heavy rain is right there near Leeds. There you go. That line is actually over the Leeds area.
I should have said.
I'm like Buc-ee's. I'm
yeah,
trying to.
yeah,
I'm trying to find it. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, we've been doing a lot of zooming in, looking at a lot of maps, not just today. You know, the thing is with these weather events, we've had one after the other over the past several weeks. So we've tracked a lot of weather through the state. I know we've had several first alert weather days, Tania, but so far with this one, at least for half the area, just want to say Birmingham West threat is over. It's going to stay windy. In fact, those winds come around again tomorrow. We'll have some colder air. You can already tell here, it's been amazing to me how quickly the weather's changed here on Red Mountain. It was windy, it was warm, now it's chilly outside.
Yes. Literally. So that main line of storms, if you're in Leeds, if you're stopped at Buc-ee's right now, you are seeing that heavy rain right now. This is on and along I-20, but that does not just include Leeds, Alabama. That stretches up towards Springville, in parts of St. Clair County, all the way up to Blount and into Etowah County. That line now entering the Etowah County area, impacting Walnut Grove. So if you're near the Walnut Grove area, all the way down to Altoona, Main Street, Highway 132, just zooming in to give you guys some areas where this main line is at. These are torrential rains, guys. Not the type of weather you want to be driving in, but you could probably outbeat this system if you were driving, okay? You could probably run through it, but hopefully you're taking your time out on those roads. No, so seriously, like, be serious about this, because these rains are nothing to play around with when you're out and about. We really suggest that you get into a structured building, get inside, but we're really paying attention to South Central Alabama, I wanted to see if there was still that marker. I think that marker went away, Wes. We were watching closely down in South Alabama. Let me put this into our current radar. Yeah, that marker went away, so that's some good news for us. It looks like this is not as organized as it was before. This is what we were watching a little bit earlier. Oh, did not mean to draw it like that. This is what we were watching earlier, right in here, guys. We try to look for anything that kind of makes us see in curve shape, that curvatures. We try to pay very close attention to that, any kind of hooks. So as of right now, it is behaving, and we cannot be more grateful. I'm telling you. Let's take a look at lightning. Still seeing a lot of lightning ahead of the main line of storms, but this line is not producing a whole lot of energy. As I zoom in, 0 lightning strikes over the Moody area, just really, really heavy rain. Margaret, heavy rain up towards Springville, Holly Springs, Highland Lake, Altoona, Walnut Grove, giving you all the first alerts, seeing some lightning, more lightning up further north towards Double Bridges and Albertville, Needmore. So if you're in those areas, you're likely hearing a few rumbles of thunder out there, so that might be keeping you up. Again, rain, wind, main impacts right now. And this has been what we've been tracking all evening. I mean, we have been live. Let's see. It's been a really long time. We've been live for several hours now.
Since 4 o'clock.
Oh, it hasn't been 4? It has been 4.
Yeah.
That's crazy. It's been since 4 p.m., guys, and we're going on 10 o'clock hours. So thank you for staying with us.
And listen, you know, we're live on Facebook. What we're seeing right now is a line of storms that's mostly just a lot of rain and wind. This entire event, we're not seeing an outbreak as expected, so that's why, you know, if we had a tornado warning, we would be on television right now. That's typically our policy, and if we didn't have, you know, special programming on as well, we might be tracking some of these storms. Obviously, it's news time, so we would be at this particular time, but, you know, around here, what we look at mostly is impact. What has the greatest impact disrupts your plans, and that's why we issue these first alert weather days. Just Saturday, we issued a first alert weather day for a high fire danger. So anything, when you see us say first alert weather day, check in with us, because it is an impactful risk that we're seeing. It's not just limited to tornadoes and severe storms, but today it's mostly about the wind. And these events, they come in several different modes. And I know JP was posting, Tania, on his Facebook page, and someone had asked me, said, well, it looks like it's not going to be an outbreak. Maybe it's not as bad as what you think. Well, it's just a different type of setup tonight. And the wind is the big story. A lot of us have been impacted, several of us without power around the state of Alabama. As Steve was mentioning a few moments ago, close to 80,000 customers without power. The lightning count's not off the chart with this particular setup, and the one limiting factor has been the instability. A lot of what's driving this is just the strong winds. The dew points have been low. The moisture, so the lack of moisture, low-level moisture, that's been one of the key variables, I think, missing, thankfully, in this particular setup, because I'll tell you what, if we had everything lining up with the kind of low moving through this area, it would be a rough night with respect to tornadoes for us. But right now, what we're seeing mostly is a lot of parameters that line up to favor straight line winds and more of a line, as we can see here. And that's been the case with the past few systems. And listen, over the next few weeks, there will be more storm systems lining up. I've said this countless times tonight, and this is what we often call the battle of the seasons, as spring's trying to build in, winter's trying to hang on. We're going to see more of these lows that move across the state, and it's always a question of how will all the pieces of the pie line up? Will we see the instability? Will we see the wind shear? And just check in with us daily here as we monitor these systems, and we'll give you the best, specific on where we think the greatest risk for winds, tornadoes, if that threat does return down the road. Hopefully all these systems behave over the next few weeks as we head on into April, but this is typically that March into April, spring severe weather season really starting to kick in, especially with a system like this moving over the state. But it's kind of tricky with these kind of lines like this, because sometimes what will happen is you'll end up with a tornado that might occur within 30 seconds, and it may end up being an EF0, and it may go a couple of blocks. I mean, that's the kind of setup for tornadoes that we see for our area. But there are those times when you end up with these discrete supercell storms that produce a tornado that tracks across the state. Thankfully, we don't see those all the time, but those events can happen, as we have learned in the past. So it's just so important that here, we break down expectations on what you can expect out of these systems. And again, you can see now that what we're looking at is more of a line, and it's going to stay that way. I would be surprised if we did get a tornado warning out of this, just based on the dryness that we had earlier today, that lack of moisture that really kind of set the tone for how this all evolved tonight. Now, this line is going to stay intense. We're still going to have some gusty winds, but some of those key ingredients that we were talking about earlier just not quite coming together, thankfully, for a significant risk of tornadoes. Now, we have had some pictures I was going to show you here, just a few. Some of these photos actually occurring from earlier today, but a lot of you share your photos and your storm pics from the First Alert Weather app, but there was a tree that fell earlier today. This was actually, I need to go to some of the, we don't want to report the content. Let's see if I've got some information here to go with this. Okay, so this was Samantha Hines sharing pictures from the Birmingham area of a tree that fell, and you can see it actually damaged that building there. Let's see where Samantha's located. She put a location on here. Look at that. Looks like a structure outside. A tree fell on it I assume in the Birmingham area, but we have this picture is actually from Gardendale. This is from Karen Bibb, and you can see a large uprooted tree. I actually had a tree fell in my backyard the event before last. Finally got that cleaned up, but a lot of downed trees, and there's Jemison. This is Nicholas sharing this from Jemison. You can see a large tree that's been toppled in the roadway there. And tonight from Center, well before the storms get there, you can see Lauren actually sharing image there of a downed tree, but just showing you some of the pictures we have coming in tonight. A lot of downed trees, some downed power lines, and that's what was actually sparking some of those fires that we saw earlier. And there was one picture, I'll try to go back to that just so you can see. This was over in East Alabama earlier tonight. Ryan Wright sharing this, and Steve and Brittany, I'll show you this so you can check it out. This was from earlier tonight, a fire that was in the Weaver area that got out of hand with the wind that we've had tonight. We've had some gusty winds. We've had some lightning sparking some of these fires, grass fires that get out of hand, and as well as some of the down power lines. But Ryan Wright sharing that over in East Alabama earlier this evening. But thankfully, we do have some rain that's on the way. That's now pushing through Chula Vista. Tania is putting radar into future mode, and you can see as we take this through past 10 o'clock to 10:08, we see all of this pushing into East Alabama, but Anniston, Jacksonville, Gadsden areas, this line approaching. You can see it pushes through Gadsden right around 10:30. The heavy rain and the strong gusty winds. Talladega, Ashland areas as well, right there around 10:30. So 10:30, that's when we're going to be seeing some of the strongest winds pushing through the Anniston area. But so far, what we're seeing, Tania, it's not like we're seeing just like a derecho. We're not seeing widespread, consistent damage over hundreds of miles here. It's more sporadic wind damage that we're seeing in this particular setup. It's not just one solid wall of wind, which is a good thing tonight. It's mostly scattered reports that we're seeing so far. And again, no active tornado warnings at this time.
Yes, no active tornado warnings. I know there might have been some misleading information in the chat. I just wanted to clear that up, that there are no active tornado warnings. So hopefully that eases your stress and your anxiety right now. We're really just seeing active severe thunderstorm warnings across the area, and I keep them toggled off because it's very messy on the screen. I just want people to be able to see the radar clearly. But I have some questions, people asking when is it entering their area. Someone mentioned Etowah County. So if you see up here, we can zoom into Etowah County very quickly. This is the Gadsden area, and I can kind of highlight this for you to kind of show you. So here's the Gadsden area. Ooh, let me get my marker. Here's the Gadsden area. Here's the line. It hasn't quite reached your area just yet. So this is at 9:50. This is at 9:50, but if we go to our future scan, I can show you when it's going to arrive in the Gadsden area, closer to about 10:20. I would be prepared around 10:15 to 10:20, reaching the Gadsden area, okay? So if you're in Gadsden, Etowah County, it has not quite reached you, that main line, but again, we're not tracking tornadoes. Strong winds, heavy rain. Now, if I zoom in here, we can also see where this line is at. Someone mentioned Pell City. It's already past Leeds. So if you're in the Leeds area, it's crossed you. If you're in the Jefferson County area, you are in the clear. We are watching the Pell City area for more of those stronger winds and those torrential rains. So that's the Cook Springs area right now being impacted. This is going to be heading towards the Pell City area, probably within the next 10 to 15 minutes. So expect some heavy rain. It should be pretty brief because this line is pretty narrow that's crossing I-20. It gets a little thicker when you go further up north in parts of Etowah County and St. Clair County, further northern portions of St. Clair County. But look how narrow it gets the further south we go. But that also just means stronger winds, because the tighter that line, man, it's bringing that brief period of heavy rain, but those stronger wind gusts as well. Childersburg isn't being impacted right now as we speak. That's on and along Highway 231. And I can zoom up here, Highway 76. You guys can get a better look here at your screen. Cloverdale, some torrential rains. This is also tracking towards Country Club Estates. So if you're in the Country Club Estates area, in what county is that? That looks like St. Clair County. Or
yes.
St. Clair County, the Country Club Estates. So that will be impacting your area very soon. Pell City very soon. Coal City. And as we go further up, eventually impacting Etowah County. It's already impacting the far western portions of Etowah County, but closer to the city of Gadsden and Reese City is going to see that main line moving through. So we're monitoring this very closely, and so far so good. It's been behaving all night. I'm not concerned about Coosa County anymore. So for those of you who said, I'm worried about it, I'm going ahead and tell you that strong wind and rain will be your main impact tonight, okay? We are still under a severe thunderstorm watch, so not a tornado watch, severe thunderstorm watch, okay, for all of our far eastern counties until 3 a.m. So that will be in effect till about 3 a.m., but I highly anticipate those counties being trimmed off a lot sooner than that. So that's one good thing to note. I'm gonna clear off these severe thunderstorm warnings and those watches so you can kind of just look at the radar. This has been a fast moving system. I can take you through our radar over the last several hours here, and you'll be able to see just how fast this moved through and really formulated across central Alabama, really. So this was us 2, 3, 4 o'clock. It started coming in closer to around 5, and that line really developing just around 6 p.m. and impacting our counties with those strongest winds. And now here we are at 9:50. It's really just been an evening event and into your late Tuesday night. And all of this should be out of here by the time you reach that midnight hour. And if you're in far west Alabama, I mean, you're in the clear. Chilton County, you want to know about Chilton County? You're in the, wait, let me go to the current radar because that's the future cast. I don't want to get confused. Yes, Chilton County, you're actually in the clear. If you're in Shelby County, that main line of storms is now in Talladega, impacting Childersburg. You're in the clear. Like I mentioned, all of Jefferson County, that main line is now into St. Clair and moving into Talladega. Blount County in the clear. Coleman County in the clear. So you guys are good. Anniston hasn't even reached you yet. There will be a brief period of some heavy rain and some stronger winds later on tonight. I'll give you some time cues on that. Someone said the Country Club's Talladega. Thanks, Kevin. That Country Club Estates is in Talladega County. It's pretty close, I think. I think it's like right at that Shelby, Talladega, or St. Clair, Talladega line or something like that. Storm anxiety in Alex City. What about Jefferson County? Yes, you're in the clear. Just mentioned that. You are good to go. We're watching this line entering Coosa, entering Talladega, moving through the central portions of St. Clair and in the far western portions of Etowah County. And if you want to know what that future scan looks like, we can kind of walk through this a little bit here. You'll be able to see that line crossing through Etowah County and heading closer towards Gadsden. I would say closer to around 10:20 p.m. And notice just around 10, just before 10:30 really, it's going to be impacting the city of Talladega and moving into the western portions of Calhoun County, and the western portions of Clay County will start to get impacted. And then Childersburg around 10:30 should be in the clear, just maybe some leftover heavy rain, but that main line pretty much moving through at that point. Looking at Sylacauga there, around 10:30, you guys will be closer to being in the clear, and then we'll see it moving closer to the Anniston area, I would say around 10:45, 10:50 time frame. In the Jacksonville area, around 10:50 time frame. And then around 11 o'clock, reaching our far eastern county, starting to enter Cleburne and exiting Cherokee County further north. And then you'll see Randolph County down there getting impacted with some more of that heavy rain, those stronger winds. So we're good, guys. I wouldn't say that it's over just yet, but just severe storms moving through the area. Just a straight line, or what's the word? Damaging straight line winds, very gusty wind conditions, some torrential rains across the area. That's what we're following here. If you look at those wind gusts, you can see exactly where the tightest gradient. This is that line that we're seeing right here stretching through St. Clair County. This is where that main line of storms is at. But notice winds on the backside of this already beginning to calm down. Doesn't mean it's not breezy. It's still pretty windy out there. We're seeing winds gusting up near 30 miles per hour for many of our far western counties. But that heavier rain is moving into and moving through our eastern counties at this current moment. And notice those strongest winds are still further east, and further south. 48 mile per hour winds in Coosa County right now, 49 in Clay, 33 mile per hour wind gusts up towards the Anniston area. So this is what we're tracking. As of right now, we are just under a severe thunderstorm watch until 3 a.m. and that does not include all of us. I will show you what areas are and remain under that severe thunderstorm watch. We'll plug this back on our screen. Bam. And there might have been some counties trimmed away from that watch. And there actually have been some canceled severe thunderstorm warnings as well. Like those warnings that were once in Jefferson County, those have all expired. You're still under a warning for Chilton County, but I'm going to give you ahead and say clear because much of that line is pushed through. And we're just watching this far eastern portion of central Alabama. So St. Clair County, you're going to be under that severe thunderstorm warning till at least 10:45, so have some time to go on that one. But they're going to continue to issue these severe thunderstorm warnings. The National Weather Service will, as that main line of rain and storms moves through our eastern counties. And that severe thunderstorm watch in effect until 3 a.m. All those counties you see highlighted in pink, including Cherokee, Etowah, St. Clair, Calhoun, Cleburne, Talladega, Clay, Randolph, Chambers, Tallapoosa, Coosa County. You are all under that severe thunderstorm watch. The only county that's under a tornado watch at the moment until 1 a.m. is Chilton County. That will probably expire very shortly here because Chilton County, I mean, that main line is literally pushed through your area. So that should be removed and probably expiring very, very soon. I'll give you the latest update on that as soon as I see that happen. But we are holding on to hope tonight. I mean, listen, we have not had any tornado warnings across the area, just severe thunderstorms, just dealing with very, very strong winds, still seeing power outages across the state. Let's take a look and see if any changes have happened with these power outages. Here we go, taking off our screen. I mean, across the state in total, oh yeah, this has definitely increased. We're seeing around 100,000 homes without power at the current moment. This is statewide, not just central Alabama, that's statewide. Now, as we look at county power outages, still looks like Jefferson and Tuscaloosa County, those more highly populated areas, of course, more homes and stuff, so it makes sense. But that's where we're seeing the most power outages at 38,000 homes in Jefferson, around 6,000 in Tuscaloosa. But still, many homes might be without power because winds are still going to be gusting up throughout the night tonight. So just be prepared for that as one of the main impacts from this system moving through. Around 1,500 homes out of power there in Coleman County, 2,500 in Walker. And well, we can go back to those current wind gusts, and it looks like the areas with the strongest winds. All right, we are getting ready to wrap up here, but we do appreciate all of you for joining us live here on Facebook.
Yes, and just let us know, give us a countdown, and we can wrap up here. We're going to be going into our newscast here on WBRC. Okay, so we're going to go, we're 30 seconds out right now, so what we're going to do, Tania, we're going to break away right now as we continue to track these storms. Make sure you join us, or just stay right here on the streams, because we'll continue here on the streams, but also we're about to launch our live newscast on WBRC, so we're going to have to flip over here. We're going to wrap this up. Be sure to join us right now on WBRC Channel 6 News.
This has been a First Alert weather update from the First Alert Weather Team.